Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch 2021 EGF All-Star event. My name is Waffles for Sid, along with my co-caster, Man of Class, and we are excited to be here as part of the EGF production team bringing you this phenomenal event. How you doing over there, Man of Class?
It's going pretty well, and of course, I get to bring the ultra neutrality by just being in a different continent. So no one's gonna get the benefit of the I already knew you or I have an affiliation with your hometown. For me, it's gonna be pure hard criticism, and of course, a lot of love for these players.
That's good. I'm over here on the West Coast. So, a little bit of love for all of you over here with me this afternoon. But I gotta say, it is fantastic to see such a variety of All Star games happening today. Not only do we get to bring you Overwatch, but there's also Rocket League and Super Smash games happening on some of our other sister channels. Obviously, none of this could have been possible without EGFH and their collaborators, both ESPN and Disney, for bringing us all together and really making this magic happen. Folks, we're starting off our Overwatch All Star matches with our Central versus West Coast team. And then following suit, we're going to see East Coast face off against our Metro team. After these four teams face off, the winners are going to go head to head in our finals match right afterwards. Man of Class, what are you most excited for about these games coming up today?
So, because it's all-star games, these are not completely pre-made teams. These players, they know each other a little bit. They've played against each other and with each other a little bit here and there, but most of it's just brand new. And we'll see what that brings to them. We'll see how much synergy they can actually build up. But mostly, I'm just very excited to see a lot of shenanigans. That's what we're here for. We're gonna see these players do something that's a little bit out of the question. Gonna be starting here with the West Coast team, of course, Sunflower and Dacquil coming up on the DPS, both from my Crespi Carmelite High and Richardson High School, respectively. Joining them from Richardson High School is also Tom Barrett Slaughter coming in on the support line. And on the Crespi Carmelite team, also a support player, L Dog, as well as the Tank Grayson, Mr. Danklin Franklin coming in, and then Rockford High School closing it out together with Charlie Snow Boardman on the other tank role. It's a fun lineup. I think we can definitely expect something good from these players.
Yeah. And these guys here have all been practicing and working hard throughout their normal season, and they have made it to this All Stars match for a reason. These guys are going to be, the cream of the crop essentially, and there's going to be a lot of interesting gameplay brought to the table because of it.
Yeah, of course, we got a few fun little factoids from their administrators that actually put them forward. So we'll be dropping those in whenever we can, whenever we have the chance to. Central roster Waffles. What do you think about these guys?
Well, we have Kellen Spearhawk coming in from Crespi, and also Deadbeat and Cole coming in from Crespi as well. So they might have some of that previous synergy being from the same school. Additionally, we've got Christopher Savage for the win, and Isaac Rebel Gold up there from Rockford joining the team, and Christopher Paradox Hill is the only one from Richardson. So wondering if he's going to be in his comfort zone or not with some of these other players, or if they're all going to say, hey, you're the new guy and you're also going to be our leader.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's the best thing to do. If they already know each other, let the new guy take the lead, so you can already rely on your pre-existing synergies to carry out everything that isn't being called by the lead.
Totally.
That being said, it's a very simple format today. We're gonna have 3 matches that are all first to three. Of course, we're gonna have the semifinals first, as we call it, then the grand finals later. Starting with this first game, it's a first to three. Starting on the control map, predetermined is going to be Nepal, and then after every map after that will be determined by the previous map loser. In case of a draw, it will be the team that most recently lost a map. It's a very normal format if you're used to Overwatch. Otherwise, it might get a bit complicated, but we'll guide you through it. No problem. And the team that doesn't get to pick the map, they get to pick which side they start on. It can be an advantage or disadvantage. Some people really think it matters, some people don't, but there are definitely metas linked to it in some cases. So
Yeah.
without further ado, I'd say let's get into it. Let's get these players on the maps.
Yeah. Well, this is what they have been working for. And, well, not for this All Stars match, but they have been working hard. And, they're here to show their stuff and, bring some spice into some of the gameplay. These all-stars, though, they're not just all-stars in Overwatch. A lot of these players do extra things outside of this Overwatch team in school, and that can be anything from doing additional traditional sports to we have a few people who also volunteer for various charities. So all-stars for this is not just limited to Overwatch gameplay all-stars, all right? These guys are all-stars in many other ways and fields.
Yeah, going in here, first map that we're going to be seeing is again Nepal, and we're going to be starting on the sub point of Sanctum, to be more specific. Nice indoor area, a lot of hazard around the objective, can just be booped in from every single direction almost, and that's why we might actually see this wrecking ball of snow come out. And Mr. Danklin, of course, in the Roadhog, be on the Winston too. But Lucio's are the ones that we see most here. Lucio, it's so easy to get these free kills. Just boop someone into the abyss. It's everyone's dream. That's why you have a Lucio here.
Exactly. And one of the strengths of Lucio is that since he can wall ride, that agility can have him swing out from a crazy angle and just boot people off the map when they were not even looking his direction. Venom here already taking an off angle and putting pressure on the West Coast team from this side. There's the dive coming in from the other, and you see they pinch forward, moving closer to West Coast, trying to get aggressive against them. But Mr. Danklin is the one that draws first blood. Venom gets too aggressive and goes down, and now everything is falling into place for West Coast. We got the Bastion that just drops down and transforms, but there's a lot of people trying to hunt for him. A kill comes through successfully, but Sunflower is back with a vengeance on that Doomfist. The point is capped in favor of West Coast, and that's going to be a bit of a reset coming through, Mana Class.
West in a really good position, and they just really were very good in their reaction. You have Venom and Savage trying to do something there with a dive, but it was very transparent, very telegraphed. They reacted very nicely. Now, let's see how long they can hold on to this, because this is just cleanup still, actually, from that last fight.
Yeah, and on that front, it's going to be difficult self-destruct given early by West Coast there, continuing to push Central back. That's looking rough for them as the Meteor Strike comes through, and now another kill to follow up. It was looking a little dicey in the beginning, but West Coast has found their footing and is continuing to berate Central back into their spawn.
You can set up a Bastion in there, but they're not really coming close enough for the Bastion to do proper damage even from spawn. And they're happy to just throw this Nano in to keep the aggression up. Mr. Danklin going ham on the Diva right now. And that's not an Echo you want to run into. Oh no, Mr. Danklin just free firing right now.
And that's something you cannot allow from anyone on these teams, just free firing there. Tom gets caught out in the back though, so they're going to be down the speed boost and the healing coming through from that, and it's going to be an opportunity for Central to push. The Genji goes ahead and dashes through, and Darkwall goes ahead and follows up with their own blade, looking for victim. 7 health! Gets taken down by a punch from Deadbeat there, and now Central has that sound barrier, and they're so aggressive after this. Deadbeat getting kill after kill. The self-destruct is sent into the abyss, and that's going to be Central retaking the point.
A lot of overconfidence coming in there for West eventually. I mean, yeah, they were doing very well aggressively spawn camping, but eventually you're going to lose something. They lost Tom. They still kept investing resources. Now they have to have plenty of time to build them back up. They are on 90%. It's something to keep watch for in coming maps and even just further rounds. Ult economy.
Yeah, 91% and counting, or 91% for West Coast, but Central has it, so they cannot let them retake it here. A couple exchanges have already happened in the fight, though, and it's going to be, oh, Savage for the win, just loses it, jumps straight into the pit. That's going to put Central behind, and West Coast knows it. They've gotten aggressive, and now all the kills are going to come in favor of them, and it's going to be a retake of the point.
8% to go. There's just an Echo to try and get to the objective. Can anyone else touch? It does look like the Winston of Savage is going to be ready in time. But it's just a single monkey. No, not even a Primal Rage ready. Waffles, they're going to just not make it anymore.
A monkey and a no primal rage is always rough. Sunflower goes ahead and jumps into the abyss, but it might have been too soon. An overtime bar has been trickled, and Central is coming back. They are not giving this up easily. There's a couple people on the point who can hold some of this space, and, well, there it is. Oh, Darkwall goes ahead and gets the kill onto the Lucio. That's going to be crippling for Central's retake attempt here. It's still a scrappy fight on the point, but all in all, West Coast has sealed the deal. And, maybe a little prematurely thought they had it, but managed to squeeze it out just at the end.
There really was a lot of signs of overconfidence there coming out of West. I mean, just definitely feeling like they're the better team today. And to be fair, so far the results have not spoken against them. They are looking very good. They are looking convincing right now. But you cannot really pull up that much slack throughout the entire match. I mean, Control is always that weird map type where just that 1v1 skirmish, we just win the duels type will, generally speaking, win you the map. But that will not keep going throughout the other map types, so we'll see if that holds on. And if even Central can maybe centralize their gameplay and come into their own on this second round.
Well, we'll have to see if they can, bring a little bit more heat to the table against West Coast here. They're all on the point, and it's going to be pretty much a brawl around this center pillar. Chip damage coming through. They're looking to bait out abilities, and the hook comes in from Mr. Danklin from behind. It's too little, too late, though. Venom has already taken down 2 people from West Coast, and after that, it is Mr. Danklin getting another hook? Maybe turning this fight is that the other members of West Coast decide that, two picks is not going to scare us, and we're going to keep pushing forward. They do not want to give up this fight, and Mr. Danklin is putting in an amazing amount of work here on this Roadhog. Hook after hook, enabling his team, and, well, the point hasn't been officially capped yet, but it is still a I mean, they're still brawling out there, waiting and trying to capture the objective in their favor. Another kill coming in from the West Coast. Central's been backed into a corner, and that is totally going to seal the deal for them and let West Coast cap the point.
Still not capped. They're still contesting. I don't really know why, because they're not going to be able to properly contest this. Maybe with the self-destruct? No.
Oh.
That's not going to hit anybody. It's just a shield in the way. So, yeah, points finally been capped, but Sunflower goes down early. It was a big part of their victory in the last round. So, missing that Doomfist could be problematic if Central wants to engage quickly, and they're definitely doing that.
I'm not too worried considering Venom took 2 people down as an opening for the last fight, and Central still couldn't hold the point. West Coast is coming in with a vengeance, and there it is. Dockwall Gus taken down mid-blade, but he manages to take a couple people with him. Central now getting the momentum and moving forward. That whole hog coming out from Venom's duplicate. I mean, now he's sleeping and slacking on the job, but was definitely a huge threat. And we've seen the amount of work Venom has continued to put into these fights.
Venom has definitely been a great player so far, and we've seen it in the current balance patch. Echo is just a very carryable hero. It's really one of those where you step on, and if you perform, you know your impact will be immediately noticed. Venom takes out Tom again, and now we're going to have YOLO also chime in with disabling Snow. Will go down themselves, but it's still a good start to the fight, even though both teams losing 2 at this stage.
Mr. Danklin with another hook. Someone please shut this man down, or at least be aware that he's gonna try and flank you and hook you. Kills are coming through back and forth for the teams, and well, it's still in possession of Central, so point is counting up in their favor. Now West Coast though has the picks, and there's the momentum moving forward. Seems like they picked him off really quick and just turned the fight in blink of an eye.
It's really the job of Savage to be ready for those hooks. Savage is rarely focused himself by the Roadhog, but this Matrix needs to be ready. That's where you're waiting for that reaction time, for the reflexes to just be there. Fortunately, not the case so far. Sunflower going behind the enemy team here. It's a beautiful Dragon Strike. Oh no!
Oh my gosh, absolutely ruthless coming through from the West Coast. They threw the Dragon Strike behind, threw the whole hog, and then topped it all off with a blade from Dockwall on top of it. That was a lot of resources for that fight.
Yeah, but then again, they're keeping track of ultimates. They know that's only Venom, Cole, and Deadbeat that maybe have an ultimate, so they're gonna be fine. A sound barrier to wear through the storm a little bit, and Mr. Danklin just doesn't even want to wait for the ultimates.
Wow, talk about rinse and repeat there. Mr. Danklin on the hog with the off-angle hook kill. Once again, bringing it through for the West Coast team. The bomb finds 2. That's opening the doors for Central to take this point back, and they have to. They've got to leave it all on the map right now if they want to stay in this fight here. The overtime bar has been triggered, and it's trickling down quickly if no one stays on, but oh, the pressure coming in from Venom is getting nasty. It's tough for West Coast. They're going to regress back, but Sunflower comes up big, and so does the support line for West Coast. They don't care. They move forward, and that is it. They push Central off the point, and the overtime bar trickled down, giving them the win.
West it goes up 1-0 in the series. 2 to go before they secured themselves a spot in the All-Stars finals. But Sunflower, let's talk about it. Was a great Doomfist, but an even sneakier Hanzo. I think this might have been the place where they go over the wall. No, this is just clean headshots. But they jumped over the roof. Like they went all the way over the roof in order to get the Dragon Strike off behind the enemy team. And it's those type of things, just doing those, I wouldn't say intelligent, but like almost risky plays, taking that risk, but also recognizing when the moment is you can go. That's it's the hallmark of a smart and intelligent player that definitely has some guts behind it as well.
Oh yeah. And you also have to really know the map terrain itself to know that you can reach that position. Obviously, Hanzo has the wall climb and his little double. I don't know if it's double jump,
It's the
little
lunge.
oomph, air
The lunge
boost.
is what they're calling it.
There, that's right, the lunge. And you can just miss it by that much. But knowing those little details in the map is really what players like Hanzo and we saw the Doomfist. Those are the types of things that those players abuse and leverage to get the advantage on the other team, knowing that that little ramp will scoot you just over enough to get you in position. Definitely something they've had to learn probably the hard way a few times as well.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, while we've seen a lot of Doomfist and Hanzo right now, both those heroes are still going to work very well on most hybrid maps, but especially one of the teams, Central, just decides, you know what? It's hybrid. Let's bring it to King's Row. It's a standard, right? We go to hybrid, we go to King's Row. We could have not gone there. Like Central could have preferred something else. Could have
Mhm.
preferred maybe a more open map where they can play some long range hit scan, depending on what they like to run. As players, as a team. It does seem like Kings Row is sort of the fitting map. If you play the All Stars, you do the greatest hits of all time, then
Right?
yeah, you're also going to go to Kings Row, which a lot of people will regard as one of the best, if not the best maps in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we talk about it to death. We always see this map sit.
I agree. As a caster, I have to say King's Row is, a very common practice for all of us. I'm always so
Mm.
thrilled when we get something spicier like Eichenwald here and there, but King's Row,
Nobody.
Corners Row, Corner Alley, Corner Galore, I don't know what you want to call it, but there is cover for days, and there's a lot of, like I said, corners for you to pull back from, hide around a bit, and really get that solid poke phase and initiation to try to engage your opponent and bait out those abilities.
Yeah. Snoozes row. Get a lot of Anas out there.
Right?
Just get the sleep darts. It's beautiful. I remember there was this brawl at some point where it was the cooldowns were ridiculously lowered, and Ana could perma sleep someone. Like her sleep dart
Oh,
would come back before the sleep dart runs out. So there
yep.
were you just go in, pick 6 Anas, you just keep the enemy team in hibernation. It was beautiful. That's not what they're gonna do here. Of course, they can't do that right now. We're gonna have. Well, pretty much Ryan Zari on one side and something we don't know yet on the other. But
Yeah.
there is a Widowmaker, Sunflower, the projectile player of the last map, Hanzo and Doomfist, now going to go over to the Widowmaker. I don't think that's going to be a problem. If your mechanics are in order, they're in order. Although hit scan slightly different than projectile and mobility, of course.
Definitely. And well, Widowmaker is the second squishiest character in Overwatch to Tracer, but it doesn't even matter. Not when Sunflower just opens up with a kill onto Venom already. West Coast starting out strong on the defense. Oh, squishy Sunflower getting pressured in the back and manages to escape there. Got the reinforcements, but it is Cole drawing another kill for Central here, or actually opening up the kill feed for Central, going back and forth between the teams, but that spawn advantage for Central is going to be in their favor. So anyone coming back will be much faster. It may not matter though, Mana Class. Sunflower put some good work in, and no, not enough. Yep.
No, it was a very aggressive but very well coordinated dive between Savage and Cole, especially. YOLO also helped out in Venom to a degree, but it was really those tanks that set it up for them, and Rebel helping out with speed boost. There is going to be a recontest, though. They're not going to give this up for free, and the Shatter even invested on Deadbeat. What a explosive retake.
Yeah, and an aggressive one too. There it is. Central still trying to hold the point and get some value out of this. They've got 2 ticks and they need 3. A good sleep from L-Dog over there coming through, taking that Primal Raging Winston down for a minute, but woken up too quickly, and he continues to chase after that. Kills are back and forth, but West Coast is not wanting to give this point up easily. Now they are on the run though. They've been thrown off balance, and Central knows to keep pushing forward and take this point.
It's not the most orthodox choice to go with that Winston Diva on King's Row, but you can just see how well it works when that backline isn't set up correctly on the other side. A Genji and a Widowmaker are not really that great at repelling dive, and then the supports, other than a sleep dart and maybe a boop here and there, it's not really made for this, for anti-dive, so it's not a full rush that we see a lot of the time, because the tanks get separated so much. Doesn't, of
Yeah,
course,
and
entirely matter, but you do see it.
Mr. Danklin taken out of the equation very early for West Coast, and both tanks are down, man of class. Oh, Dackwall goes ahead with the Nano Blade in an attempt to save this fight and carry it single-handedly, but he gets taken down. It's not going to be enough. Central has it all together and just eliminated them very swiftly.
Very nice, nice pace they're keeping up. Of course, something that Dive loves to do, keep the snowball up. But now there's a minefield in their way. Very early invested those. They could just clean up the mines before anything ever happens. They don't even have to worry about them. That's an odd choice for Mr. Danklin. Maybe they're gonna switch.
I mean, he was
Doesn't look
putting in a
like
lot
it.
of work on that road. Oh,
Questionable. Nope, coming on to Rosaria. They are switching. That's good to see.
okay. Yeah,
Okay. Not
absolutely.
entirely
This might be
wasted
the
then.
change they need. Self-destruct gets thrown by Central, and there's the sound barrier reinforcing the other members. It's going to be really great for them to push in now that they have that extra shield on top, but it's West Coast is not giving up easily. A couple exchanges back and forth, and the Diva Bomb from Sunflower's duplicate finds two. Central is down, and Sunflower continues to fill the kill feed and just remove members of Central one after another.
It's the one thing that Dive doesn't have. It's a lot of shields. Yeah, they have a lot of mobility, but as soon as those cooldowns are gone and you don't have that shield of the bubble of the Winston anymore, that self-destruct's gonna get you. And if you get 3 self-destructs in a row as Sunflower, then yeah, of course you're gonna eventually find some purchase. It took a while, but they got away with it. I mean, it's 45 now to get this card the last push to second. This will be one fight deal, and YOLO's already hiding in the back. Just sneak it in.
I don't know if it's going to matter.
Potentially.
2 kills already opening up with Sunflower. The hook comes through from Mr. Danklin once again. And, well, West Coast does manage to find a pick. They are still down a man. It's a scrappy fight here in this side hallway. And, well, there it is. A punch kill from Sunflower once again. Mr. Danklin follows with one of their own. But, oh, poor Deadbeat could not escape those squishies. Just, I mean, as soon as they're stuck to you, that's when you know it's game over.
Team as well, throwing out the crouches, making sure they don't get hit. I like to see it. Making sure they truly showing how much above the other team they are. So far, though, Central playing a lot better than they have been on the last 2 maps. Doing so great right now, though, as the Cole already out of the mech early. Didn't even get to start the fight as Shatter comes out.
Wow, 3-man Shatter lands as well, and with the Dragons and everyone else to follow up on the damage, it was, you know, going to be tough for Central in that fight. They are moving the payload, though, and just found out. Hopefully Jolo can get away. The focus beam, so deadly. That increased damage after 50% has been chunked out of you. Just melts you faster than most characters are ready for. The dupe comes through from Sunflower. There it is, self-destruct built up so quickly, but gets taken out of the duplicate form just in time by the opposing self-destruct coming through from Venom on top, or from Central. They're still holding this hallway here, but Mana Class, it is tough to push through this archway on King's Row.
Need to find something to get through, and I'm thinking they're going to try and send Savage in very deep with the Primal. But he's not even going to get the chance to initiate. That's their problem. They need to fight on their own terms. They're just getting engaged on right now.
Well, Lessons comes through from Central. They're trying to push through, but West Coast answers with Tom's sound barrier. He's keeping everyone really well healed up on that front. The Dragons from West Coast just tore through everyone in Central, and then the remainder of Whole Hog finished them up.
What a defense. I mean, they West Coast got kind of overrun on the first point. Just stabilized very well, made the right switches that they needed to, and now they're just ready to receive whatever's coming at them. They're even making the first move, which against the dive is really hard to do. Now Venom has switched over to the Widowmaker, takes down Sunflower. This is a full Reinhardt Rosaria Brawl Calm, but you don't want to charge into that one. Oh no, Snow is ready.
An overtime bar here trickling down, and well, that's going to be the first round completed with, you know, 1 point fully capped by Central.
They almost got it to second. Like, they definitely got close to it. So, it's not unholdable, but it's one of those where how the way Kings Row usually goes, we will see most likely West take this out. Doesn't mean that Central, again, doesn't have the chance to hold this. Maybe their defense is going to be really strong. But it does surprise me that they played so much of that dive style, even with the Widowmaker and, you know, one of those other, few of those other more mobile heroes. And then they chose the King's Row to go to King's Row. It's that's slightly questionable on my end because I'd say if you want to go there, go to like something I don't know, Blizzard World maybe, or Icon
Yeah.
Wall, even Numbani, which is very
Mhm.
divey. Like basically every other hybrid map would probably have been better for dive than Kings Row, but gotta respect their choice. Their defense looks very different. They're gonna at
Yeah.
least pull out the Mei. And if there's anything I can always agree with, it's a good Mei push.
Yeah.
Something in the
Well,
attacker spawn though. I see something coming up there. Symmetra and a Bastion. I'm
oh,
gonna go for the top hat strategy. I'm calling it. I'm not even gonna wait. They're
yeah.
gonna do top hat.
Oh, is that what you call I have a friend who calls it, Lion King because the statue's holding up the bastion like the baby.
No, but you're on the head, so it doesn't work. You're not on the orb. You're on the head, so it's a top hat.
Oh,
Otherwise, I
I'm
would
gonna
agree
call
with
it
you,
Top
but it's
Hat.
yeah.
Bastion needs new skin right there. One that when he turns into turret form makes him look
fancy
like
a
Top Hat.
fancy hat.
With the fancy
Imagine. I
bird
mean, they're gonna
too.
change the character. They're changing the character models for Overwatch 2. Might as well.
There, exactly. Sunflower TP'd up there. Cole finds the pin on the low ground though, but Sunflower is just tearing everyone up. Just point and click adventure here on the top of the statue, putting in so much DPS. Tom finishes off deadbeat there with a nice little quick right click, and well, West Coast just came in with a vengeance and pushed this first point.
Such a four-part strategy. Like you need almost all the heroes aside from the Reinhardt are literally there just to support the Bastion. It's great. And they're gonna be able to push forward in a second. We're gonna get the counter Bastion from YOLO, Venom on the Widowmaker, so they're not taking this line down. But Sunflowers are going on the flank. They're gonna try and teleport behind this, I think. They're trying to set up something with a teleport on the flank. They have to be.
This is gonna
But
be
where are they gonna
sneaky.
go?
Maybe. They
Oh, they're
are. They're
doing
gonna
it. They're doing
TP
it. Set
the
up behind.
Bastion behind them
Yes!
and just tear through them from behind, shredding everyone who even looks their direction. Absolutely successful coming through. Great team play and honestly quite a cheeky little play, if I may say so myself.
I will say the flank control and general awareness of Central leaves something to be desired here and there. I mean, this is like the fifth time that someone just walks up behind them and they don't even notice until they're dead. It's I mean, it happens to the best of us. Don't get me wrong, but it's not looking great.
Yeah, it's definitely tough out here, and you know, Central, not everyone's used to playing with each other. Sunflower, though, just takes two people out with the tank form. Another one, a 4K here. He's looking hungry, but Dakwall goes ahead and takes the last two for themselves. West Coast unopposed now, and celebrating as they rolled on forward and captured the win on King's Row as well.
Look, I'm gonna take the blame here. I'm just not enough of a Central supporter like you are a West Coast supporter, Waffles. Like it's just this is all on me. I'm not gonna, this was a beautiful play from Sunflower. I think we're gonna get we're gonna get the flank. No, not even the flank teleport. Oh, it's a different one. It's
No,
right
this
after
is.
that.
Oh,
It's right after that with the ultimate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of
I mean,
damage.
we all know when we play against Bastion, it's always his
I was gonna
ultimate that's gonna.
say, oof. Remember the early day Bastion when no one actually knew what the game was like? Oh, that was a thing. But right now, 2-0 up for West Coast. One more map to go before they secure their spot in the last match of the day for the Overwatch All Stars tournament. But first, they're gonna have to win that map. It's gonna be Escort, I think. Pretty sure it was Escort. Might have. No, we're
Yes,
going to Assault
I.
first. Going to
Oh,
Assault first. Very important. Pretty big distinction. One you push a card, the other one you have to take two objectives after each other.
yeah.
It's pretty big diff. And they get to pick between two different maps as well. They get to pick between Volskaya and Hanamura, so no Temple of Anubis. And of course, as we're all used to, no Paris Horizon, even though that would have been
Oh,
really fun for an all-star match, maybe. Imagine just send them to Horizon because why not? But
yeah,
that being said, if I had to pick one, like if I were to be Central right now, I'd send them to Volskaya. That map works way better for them than Hanamura would. But we've seen them pick Kings Row while they like playing dive, so might as well see them doing Hanamura too. It's not terrible for dive. I just think Volskaya is better.
yeah. I personally favor Volskaya also terrain wise. As from the attacking perspective, I think that I like all of the different avenues and options to go for an attack on Volskaya. You do have that cart that splits the big main alleyway pushing through, and um, that main reaction between the offense and the defense, and how defense either reacts or engages with them around that main barrier in the middle, can really set the tone of a pace too. Um, I've seen plenty of teams where they try to take a really long route, and the defense rotates around out of the way and then just berates them with damage as they're just trying to walk closer. And you know, I'm curious to see if, we're going to see a lot of variety in approach to these types of attacks, or, if we might keep it a little silly still and maybe see some TP teleporting bastions across the map again.
It's possible. I mean, now that they know it works, why not try it one more time, right? I mean, we could definitely see some teleporter shenanigans because we're going to Volskaya. Could see them a little bit on the, go over the cliff side on the left on both the
Oh,
first
yeah.
point and then on the right side on the second point. From a attacker perspective, there are some options they could explore. Maybe we see some turret strats, going over the platforms that are on the left of the second objective. But for now, all we know is that we're going to have the same teams being on the same sides, going to Volskaya Industries. Once again, have the central attack first. And we'll see if they're actually going to be able to do better than they did on King's Road, take away a map. But even a draw still extends the series because it's the first of three. Means you have to win
Yeah.
three maps, not draw two.
Yep, if you don't win that last point, it's not, I mean, you're not going to move along quite yet. Like you said, Central's going to have to really leave it all on this map if they want to stay in this series. And well, I I bet that they are going to be trying to keep an eye on their flank a lot better after those first couple
You would
maps
think
coming
so.
through. I mean, I
You would
hope
think
so.
so, but there's no guarantee, right? You never know for sure. Gonna get a very short pause. Looks like we have a player disconnect, so we're gonna take a little bit longer to load into the map. But like the players, I really want to see step up on the side of Central because I know they can do it. Definitely is gonna come a little bit from the DPS side. I will say they're switching up their roles a little bit now, so we're gonna have Rebel be on the tank with Cole instead of
Attackers
Savage.
incoming.
Hmm,
While I thought that Savage was definitely doing well on the tank role, they were playing very aggressive in such a way that healing wasn't really an option.
yeah.
And that's possible, but especially the off tank role, that's a really hard thing to do well because then your backline really needs to be able to defend for itself. And that's also why those flanks were so successful because there was never really a tank that was looking their way. So if I'm going to see anything, I hope that Rebel is going to be able to step up to that plate, make sure they can fill the off tank role, get some good hooks in because they're going to do a Symmetra strat, something with a Bastion and a Symmetra.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about Rebel popping off. They are captain of the Rockford Rangers team, so used to having a bit of pressure on their shoulders. Savage already set up here on this side and putting those turrets down to be defensive. YOLO goes ahead, just shreds the turret there, so gonna be a lot of pepper damage removed from West Coast team. Reflected right in his face, all the damage that he needed to kill himself. The res is there just as quickly coming through from Deadbeat, and well, doesn't look like it's gonna be enough mana class. It's just gonna be, oh, YOLO out there, and he manages to be killed by Sunflower, who got the hammer kill. Every Torb's dream right there.
Yeah, it's what you love to see when you are a Torbjorn, but you don't really like to see it if you're playing against the Torbjorn. And have two players kind of stuck here in the enemy spawn. Cole and Venom trying to go back and make sure they can initiate with their team. They know they're there. Danklin has seen both of them. But at least they're losing a turret. The turret was there to check whether they did a little weird teleport thingy. And Sunflower just walks up on the Savage with a hammer again.
Wow, that's two coming in from Sunflower with the hammer kills there. Another res comes through, but there's a fight happening across a lot of this area of the map between some of the skirmishes coming through from the initial areas, and well, now Tom going ahead, moving around. He's going up behind him. There it is, the engagement coming through onto Savage right there. Savage getting charged up, and they're trying. Oh, the help comes through from Mr. Danklin, finishing off Savage just in the nick of time. Tom absolutely was looking a little scared there against the Symmetra. She was so charged up. Early kill onto Deadbeat though for Central is gonna put them back from this attack. A blade comes
Yeah,
through in the
there's
back? Okay, we're engaging here for some of these stragglers who decided to have the audacity to hang out at the point a little longer. And, well, Central still looking to push forward, Mana Class.
they still are, and Cole's still trying to actually get back to their team. It's eventually gonna happen. Who's deciding which map? He's stuck. Is Cole stuck? Oh, they're just dancing now. Okay.
Oh, we're doing
I think
Torb 1v1s. All right, folks, we got Sunflower in the blue over here. And oh, Sunflower manages to win against Savage just right there. That's the go button for West Coast, and now it's a free-for-all for everybody. He's been nanoed, and he's trying to take down that Roadhog, but that's a tanky character to begin with. So, you know, a little bit of nice...
feeling. I wonder what the conditions for 1v1 were. Like, you know, because sometimes teams say, okay, Turbo, if you win, you get first point or something. But I don't really know if there were any conditions attached in this one. Well, I guess we'll maybe be able to ask after the games as a player interview.
Right.
Yeah, winner gets points. That's what it came down to. Interesting.
Boom. Yeah, well, I also love when it's a bloodthirsty support duel to open up as well. Looks like we got Tom over here trying to, you know, just keep the damage on. Gets lowered and has to pop the trance to save themselves. And West Coast here really just continuing to hold the point. We got 20 seconds left, so Central pretty much knows that it's going to be a rough push in. And
No, but they're done. They lost the Torp 1v1. They've lost the points. That was the deal. They can't win.
No, Sunflower won the Torb duel. Oh, no, they did. Oh,
now.
I see.
But Sunflower won, so they're not getting the point, right? Okay.
So obviously we don't understand the rules of the 1v1 that they invoked. A little bit of different gladiator style battle than we were prepared for. But
right.
that's Central going ahead and
joust
drafting.
time, right? New joust time, so I guess the Torbs are the new jousters? Something like that? I don't know.
I don't know either. Savage gonna be pushing forward here. Dakwall gets that early kill onto Rebel, and look, he's just going for the hammer kills only, and you know, not quite finding that value he's looking for. Sunflower also doing hammer kills only as well. Just gonna take it easy as the turret does all the work for them in the back line, and well, also all their teammates doing the work for them in the front line.
Yeah, well, another 2 minutes 20. Let's see if they're gonna do another 1v1 or whatever is gonna happen. I'm here for it. I want to see what's going down. Rebel and Cole on the Winston and the Wrecking Ball. At least there's a lot of initiation power, but let's see if they can have some sustain with that. Just the Mercy and the Lucio doesn't seem like it's gonna be enough, but maybe they can just do enough bursts with the Torb and Tracer next to it to close out fights early. It's possible.
A couple people falling low, but L-Dog knows to keep them topped off. No problems there. There is a kill onto Dakwall to open up for Central, and the anti so nasty coming through from L-Dog. It's going to be tough for Central, but looks like it has timed out, and now they are getting some of the heals they need. Now Sunflower trying to find that value, but does get the kill at the last minute onto Deadbeat. West Coast continuing to hold strong here on the second point.
Yep, West Coast, best coast. It keeps being the true sentence for this game at least. Sunflower just perpetually having the hammer out at this stage. I don't think they even want to use their gun anymore. I mean, why not? I mean, if you can get hammer kills, it's all credit. You know, every hammer kill you get saves another soul. That's the legend.
You know, I would love for you to go into the entire lore behind that legend one day, as where that comes from. But
I mean, might as well, right? No. It's a beautiful legend. It's something. The thing is, you can't force it. Like, you can't just go into a custom game and get hammer kills. Like, they need to be earned. But then they do actually grant the savior of a soul. Not if you're choosing. It's gonna be a random soul, so you could save the wrong soul. But Sunflower doesn't seem to be too concerned with that. And why would you be? You know, you have so much to do, so much to have fun with. That's not your prime concern in this game. Lucio 1v1. Tom actually having to go to the health pack. I think that's cheating. I think Tom lost that. I think we can all agree Tom lost that 1v1.
That's kind of,
I
I
have
have
no
to say, my
honor.
1v1s always result in me running to get a health pack pretty much 90% of the time. L-Dog does bring Sunflower back into the fight, but oh, Tom goes down. It is Venom who is victorious in his Lucio battle. Does live through the stick. Thank goodness for that sound barrier. And even though the OT bar has been triggered, it is all central here on the point, capping it a bit. They got one tick,
Tick.
but it'll be curious to see if West Coast continues to stall out this point. Oh, that minefield. Mana Class is going to be so deadly. I was concerned for Rebel charging through. I'm glad he didn't charge through that minefield. Now the Valk has been popped by Central, though, and there's the grab, grouping up quite a few members of them on top of it. The sound barriers reinforce West Coast, and they're trying to endure through this fight. Reinhardt goes ahead and takes Mr. Danklin for a pin off the edge of the map, and Sunflower gets another kill in the meantime. It's a scrappy fight here, still on the point. The supports are trying to be as bloodthirsty as they can, but it is chaos left and right, and that is going to be West Coast holding strong for the second point defense.
Oh, it is a party in Volskaya right now. Tor 1v1s, Lucia 1v1s, point and a half kept for Central. Now, let's see how quickly West closes this out, because I think they've pretty much said to themselves, you know what, we're going to give them some fun on defense, and then we just run over them so we can get this over with. But maybe they want to have some more fun. Maybe we're going to have some different heroes 1v1 right now. I mean, we're already on round 2. This time, plenty of time left. 7 minutes max.
I have some hope for a couple more 1v1 face-offs potentially. I mean, the Torb Hammer fight is great. Everybody enjoys that, but my personal favorite is actually when we see the Battle Mercies come through. You got the pistols out, and we're all trying to crouch up and down to prevent those extra crit headshot damage coming through, and just really give those supports an opportunity to shine and show that they're just as deadly.
Oh, we're gonna get a
Oh,
full spawn camp. That's interesting.
wow, this
I like it.
is
I like it.
awesome. Yeah,
It's gonna fail, but I like it.
that doesn't mean we're not going to enjoy it.
Exactly. Just because it's gonna fail doesn't mean it's not gonna be great. But I can appreciate them trying it. But you would have heard that, right? Yeah, Mr. Deck was just straight
Yeah.
going over there like, guys,
Oh
they're
yeah.
over here.
There it is. It's a fight all the way right here next to the spawn.
What
West
an
Coast already getting
anti-nades.
so many kills, pushing people off the edge left and right. It was a good thought by Central here to try to hold front, but we mostly knew that it was going to be a pretty scrappy fight.
So those type of plays only work out if you can hide yourself from sight and sound on the enemy spawn. If they don't see or hear you, you might surprise them. But they made way too much noise. They walked right in front of the other spawn door. So yeah, that was never going to be an actual surprise attack. You can already see that West doesn't even want to hold on point 80. Are already on their way to point B. It's not going to be a long hold. There we go. 6 minutes 10. See if they can get a
Ooh.
record time going. Cole does take down Mr. Danklin. But then again, Mr. Danklin was on his own out there, so not too surprising. Sunflower already gets the Zenyatta. This might be a quick take regardless of a Reinhardt.
Oh, almost missed the elevator there. Oh, got booped off just a little bit. Sunflower's falling so low and gets taken down by Venom. The bloodthirsty support is victorious against the flying projectile character there. And West Coast, not going to have as much damage to push in. The sleep! Oh, almost comboed with the pin perfectly. Just missed it a little bit, but definitely a big play coming through from L-Dog to enable his team. Nano coming through for that tank as well. That's going to give him the extra damage and, well, prevent some of the incoming damage coming through. Mr. Danklin takes Cole off the edge for a ride, and West Coast is going to be down a player because of it, but doesn't matter because they go ahead and win this series.
It's a nice 3-0. We kind of already saw it coming after those first two maps, but the third map really secured it. If you're secure enough that you give the enemy team the first point after a Torp 1v1, you know you're having a good day. West Coast definitely coming out on top on this one. See some more savage Tor play in the end. Just a regular melee, no hammer melee. But still, regardless, we'll have to see it. Only got 3 cards on this as well. That says it all. Only 3 cards,
I
not
mean,
4.
they're all for West Coast as well. So, definitely shows that they were working hard and it seemed like they had a really solid synergy together, especially in comparison
Yeah,
to Central. We're a bit mixed up here on the All Stars team, so it's not always the easiest to have that like unspoken mental connection, knowing where they're gonna be before they're already there, kind of thing.
for sure. And it's also the you have 2 different ways you can go. You can either trying to do something together as a team, or really play off of individual mechanics and individual plays and just sow chaos wherever you go. I
Yeah.
think that option B was way more as well what West was going for, which meant that the attempts of coordination on the other side kind of got lost in the chaos. So they could have maybe played into that, played just as chaotic, and they might have done better. But all we know is the result of this game, and West coming out on top of this one. Central, unfortunately, we're not going to see them again today, but we are going to see other teams later on, East and Metro. For now, though, still revel in the awesomeness that was this game.
Yeah, West Coast, best coast is what we folks over here like to say. Um, Big congratulations to that All Star team for their win. And, after a quick break, folks, we are going to bring someone in for an interview from them and see a little bit of insight as to what's going on behind the scenes. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey, folks, and welcome back to our 2021 Overwatch EGFH All Star event. We just closed out our Central versus West Coast Team All Star match, and well, West Coast Best Coast was the victor 3-0. Joining
Yeah.
us for our interview, we have Mr. Danklin. Mr. Danklin, congratulations on your win. What's the feeling of being on the all-star team and, all working together and being from different schools as well?
Well, it's a really great feeling just to be put on a team where everyone's just having a good time. Like we're not really focused so much on like just winning the game. Like we want to have fun. And I thought it was really cool to be put on a random team with some people that I don't know, some people that I do, just a mixture. It's a really fun mix and I'd like to do more of this stuff in the future.
Nice, nice. Now,
Cool.
on the side a little bit, I know that you have been doing a lot of like volunteer work in your off time over the last few years. How has that really affected you in your esports? And like, how does that bring it all together and help you round out?
Yeah. So, this is just like a personal thing. I really like helping people, and so that's like I actually main support. I'm not really a tank player. I really like playing support, and when you mentioned the volunteer service, yeah, I help people in need, the vulnerable people of Earth, and it's really fun. Just I can it translates in like almost all aspects of my life.
Absolutely, yeah. And well, no one will enable you more than your support players. Well,
Hmm.
maybe your off tank here and there, but all in all, really fantastic gameplay coming out today.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, and something I always wonder is, normally when you play on your own team, do you actually call each other by your names or by your gamer tags? And was that really different today for like the All Star thing?
Well, yeah, normally we've been actually having in-person practice just for a Crespi A team. So,
Hmm.
before when we first made the Overwatch team, I didn't really get to, meet them personally. And once we started having in-person practices and games, I got to connect with them on a more personal level. And so, I just call my own team by their real names. But this new group, I personally just like to get to know people, and I want to be comfortable with them, especially if I'm playing on a team with them, just to build that team synergy. And so yeah, no, I did call all of them by their real names, and it just felt good.
Okay. Here, not something we hear every day. I mean, I still call some of my best friends I met online by their tags, even though I know their real names. Like I know how that goes, but sometimes you listen to your gamer name more than your real name. No, it's not that bad. But I understand that. That sounds really cool. Definitely fits with your profile. Helping people, building a connection. Super cool to hear, and hope you can continue to do that in the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
what are your plans coming up for, esport wise? Like what are your goals to continue along this path if you want to?
Well, first, I really want to play in college. I've been looking to apply to some schools for esports, and they have a very high bar. You have to be GM for that. So my friend and I, Sunflower, are actually gonna hit GM pretty soon, and we're just gonna go for it, try and play in college. And I'd really like to keep playing esports for as long as I can.
Yeah. I mean, but that's fantastic to hear. And the fact that you guys are grinding and climbing definitely shows, why you're here in the All Stars match. And that speaks a lot, in my opinion. Man of class, anything else you want to add?
I just want to know, like, for such a supportive person, is there anybody who supports you who you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd like to shout out, once again, Sunflower, my main man. Also like to shout out Paris. I love you. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and thank you. You guys heard it from him, Mr. Danklin himself on the West Coast All-Star team. Uh we're not gonna be done with him quite yet. We are gonna see the West Coast team eventually face off against the victor of our next match coming up. That's going to be our East Coast team versus our Metro team. So shifting over to the other side of the nation, and to see what, if West Coast is best coast, or who's going to come to play and face off with against them in the finals round. Until then, folks, we are going to get a couple things set up on the back end, and we'll see you back here shortly for our next match. Hey, folks, and welcome back to the Overwatch 2021 EGFH All Star event. For those of you who are just joining us, we are about to kick off our second match of the afternoon. Previously, we saw. We saw West Coast face off against Central, and West Coast went ahead and took the win 3-0. Now we're going to see East Coast face off against Metro for a chance to go up head to head in the finals against West Coast. I'm excited to see what these guys are going to bring. We've already seen a little bit of silly
Yeah.
shenanigans come out in our previous match, but man of class, what do you think we're going to see?
I think we're just gonna see more shenanigans, first of all. But the question is who's gonna be pulling out the shenanigans? Which team is gonna be so dominant as West Coast was in the last game? Starting here with the Metro roster. Of course, gonna have two players from Huntington High School coming out: Jake Adra Burton, Harris Azer Levinson, tank and a support, unrespectively. And then we have three players from the All Hallows High School come out. Derek Kellydud Canarte coming in DPS, as well as Joseph Bird Nguyen. I
Oh,
still I
let me
know
help you
it's a
out with
very
that.
common name. I was gonna say it was
It's
different, right?
believe it or not, it's actually the same as mine. So Joseph Bird Nguyen, got you there on
Nguyen,
the
that
right
was it.
one.
I've heard it before, just forgot it, but thanks for correcting me there. Jacob Oblivion's Ventura on the tank. And of course, the lone McNair Academia high school player, Gabriel Cava de Grucio on the DPS.
Yeah, we got definitely a bit of a quite strong lineup. I did actually hear that Adra does a bit of community and charity work themselves as well. Heard a bit about it from some of the other players previously in their match, but Adra actually also works for the Community of Life fundraiser, which, or I'm sorry, the Relay for Life fundraiser, which helps with breast cancer. So huge props over there. Obviously, these all stars are all stars in the game and out of the game too. We've got our East Coast lineup here. Joe, Ace of Spades Manu coming in from All Hollows with Abil Majin Polcano as well from the same school. From Huntington High School, we're going to have Logan Sauerkraut Wilson, followed by Brian Archive Negron. And coming through from McNair as well, we're going to have always Jaffer and Ahmed Blusha Shakih. Apologies on that front. I'll take full responsibility on that. But these guys here, obviously from a spread of different teams, going to make up our East Coast All Stars, and looking pretty intimidating.
Yeah, totally, and that is what the All Stars event is about. You get the best players, or the presumably best players from all these teams. They're going to be put together randomly, kind of sort of by region, and then face off against other teams that have been put together that way. So we have four teams total. West and Central were on earlier, and of course West came out on top. And now we're going to see who gets to face off against West to decide who gets the better one. Is it going to be Beast Coast, East Coast, or is it going to be Metro Deluxe? We still have to see what comes out on that one. I'm very excited for it. Of course, they're going to be starting on the same first map. It's going to be Nepal. After that, we still have Hybrid, Assault, and maybe even another Escort and Control map after that. It's a first of three. Anything can happen. The only way to find out what will happen is by going into the actual map of Nepal.
Yeah. It'll be curious to see what type of tempo these teams come out with and really set the pace with. Um, I gotta say, speaking from personal experience, I am really excited to be here with this All Stars event. I was on an All Stars team for water polo way back in the day, and the environment of being on a team with other people who have that same drive and same desire to improve and get better, but they also have the same love for the game itself, really is an uplifting and just lifts the entire caliber of mindset and play style in general. And the experience is indescribable and definitely invaluable.
It's always a great moment where you can be amongst people who are in the exact same mind frame and place as you are. I mean, yeah, there might be like a slight age difference between some of these players. You know, you talk about sophomores, juniors, seniors. You know, there is some, but it's only a few years, and they're all kind of in the same place in their life all the time, the same boat. They all love esports. They love the same
Mhm.
game that they're playing, and then there's so many other things that they can still connect through as well, and it just brings them together. It brings all of us together being here, and that's what's so beautiful about it.
EGFH has done a fantastic job of bringing, a lot of variety of games together. We are here obviously covering the Overwatch matches. I'm curious to see, poor Oblivion's already on the point by themselves, got that charge to get the distance in. Well, the engagement's going to be a little bit slower from East. They don't have the speed, and Kava goes aggressive in the backline, goes for the one clip on Ace of Spades, doesn't quite find all the crit damage he needs, but still going to be a continuous threat. Oblivion's is the first person to go down, but now Metro continuing to aggress forward here. They have a little bit of position on the point, but kills are going back and forth, man of glass. It is tough here, and now it looks like East opens up with a shatter all ready for this first fight. That was a very quick shatter build.
What a beautiful way to play that. They slowly walk in as a cluster, make sure their flanks are covered properly by Sauerkraut and Ace of Spades, and just win out. They don't have to be fast as long as they don't let the objective flip, and they eventually win out the fight. The sustain and control is so good on their side right now.
Yeah. Oh, Kava getting aggressive here on the top. There's the pulse bomb ready. Goes for the throw. Knew it would be ready after the one clip was thrown, but didn't find any targets to stick on. The nano coming through for East Coast is going to be aggressive and going to be scary, and that sends Metro back to the spawn.
Metro once again has to reset. Ults are starting to come online now, though, so it's okay, but Gamism already got 2 ultimates off, and Oblivion's hasn't even gotten the first one. That's like, we talk about MTD a lot lately. Don't want to throw out the word just yet, but right now it's might be already be applicable.
We'll have to see if, Metro goes ahead and steps up to that challenge. I would love to see them, really focus fire and communicate which targets they're wanting to dive. Kava here, once again, going for another long flank around the side. Goes for the Ana. She's low and gets the sleep! Just in the nick of time, not before she dies to the punch. Gonna be Kava getting out with their life, thankfully just barely. And now Metro does have an opportunity to push. Ooh, Kava's taken out though. Now they're evened up, and Oblivion's is so low. The resources are there to keep him alive, but at what cost? Fire Strike thrown through that Amp Matrix, and now Metro has knocked the doors open of this fortress and are continuing to push forward. Looks like East Coast here trying to do a little bit of a last stand towards this main, but now that it's flipped over to Metro's possession, they do not want to stagger and trickle in.
96%, they're in a pretty good spot. They have got a bunch of ultimates in the bank too. No worries there. I think they're just gonna engage with an amplification matrix and zoom them down with that Hanzo M3.
Oblivion's gets an early pick with that Fire Strike though, so that's gonna shut down the the push coming through from East really quick.
I mean, yeah, you can't really put down an amplification matrix. Your Baptiste just dies. That is definitely the case there. Unfortunate for them. Gonna be an aggressive push here. They do get Ace of Spades. If they keep getting these early picks, it's gonna be a problem. But if you trade one DPS for another, you can definitely go for an engage here if you're East Coast.
Yeah, and East Coast is going to go for it. They're going to be pushing into a shatter, so a lot of eyes on Oblivions. There he is! Walks past the opposing Reinhardt shield, landing a few with his own shatter, and Metro is there to clean up everyone sitting on the ground.
What a convincing game, or convincing fight on the defense. And it's just flipped over. I mean, where East Coast was just dominating earlier on, now they're just struggling to get back into the game. And it's fascinating to see that dynamic. MTD definitely not established just yet.
East Coast though and Metro gonna have so many ultimates online. It's going to be about how they engage and rotate through them. It's getting into be, I mean, going to be close to last fight territory if this gets drug out enough. Grab is thrown early by Metro, and High Noon is there to follow up, trying to find the damage, but mostly just zoning back the East Coast. 2 flashbangs, 1 for each other, and it is going to be Kelly Dud coming out on top of the McCree duel. Does go down in the end, and that is East Coast capping the point right here. 96% and counting. It is going to be a desperate attempt for Metro to trickle on and continue to stall this point. The pin's going to take Kava way out of position there, but not before East Coast. Oh, I thought Metro was going to be able to touch just again, but East Coast manages to prevent that.
East Coast finally able to recap that point and assert the dominance that they had established for themselves earlier. It's a very close one, though, a very close affair, but having that early lead, that 96%, just gives you so much space to work with it eventually. Is enough to flip it back and take that point for themselves. Now we're going over to Sanctum, and both these teams are going to swap up the exact same thing. They're going to take the Lucio in instead of the Ana. They're going to take the Roadhog. They will actually have one difference here. It's going to be Kelly Dud coming over on the Junkrat. So no Hanzo on their side. And a Zarya as well for Oblivion. So no Reinhardt either. And Shieldless is not unheard of, but it is a bit tricky if you don't know how to dodge the damage correctly.
And we'll see if they can also dodge these boops that are going to be coming through from the Lucios. You mentioned this last match about all the, abyss to get dropped into, for lack of a better word. And well, it's actually Metro starting off early. East Coast does go ahead and let Archive drop Azer back into the pit, but Metro here still holding on to the point and looking to cap it in their favor.
Yeah, they are gonna get that early control. There's got a few more picks early on, especially impactful ones. Supports and DPS are usually more hurting because tanks can do a lot of damage, but they really need that support. Otherwise, they're kind of sitting ducks. Seeing if the re-engage is going to be good here. Are taking a nice slow approach. I like that.
Yeah, these Roadhogs need to be watched too on the side for, those hooks to drop you off into the pit there. Hanzo coming around the side for some off-angle damage, and East Coast finding a lot of kills after that Earth Shatter. Kelly Dud gets the kill with their Mayhem Mines onto Ace of Spades, but not going to be enough.
It definitely is not. Earlier flip this time around as well, 39% only. Going to be Sauerkraut, Ace of Spades, Gamism, Archive, Maj, and Zinalan that have to try and get back into this one. It's not always easy to do, but if you get an early pick on Kelly Dud, it becomes a lot easier.
Ooh, Archive pinned out there from the back, and I mean, just after he had hooked someone on top of it. East Coast holding the point strong here and just peppering Metro anytime they try to walk through either side of the doors, taking down the shield, putting in the damage. The Immortality Field has been forced out early, and there it is. Now that it's removed from the equation, High Noon is popped because nothing will be able to save them from that last bit of damage coming through. Sauerkraut's taken down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to let Metro really open the doors for an attack.
It's been helpful, but then the Reinhardt dies straight after, so Oblivion has to respawn. You just lose time anyways. We're gonna have this very aggressive hold. You see this a lot on Sanctum. Just that forward door, there's a lot of spam potential, and now we see Archive on the flank. It's gonna happen. Is he gonna find? Is he gonna be quick enough? Because everyone's already gone.
I don't know. I think that was too little, too late. Everyone had already been cleared off the point. We saw Gamison trying to put the Earth Shatter down, but Azer had already popped the whole hog, throwing him in the air. The hook's an attempt, but it's onto the Lucio, so I mean, one of the hardest people to throw in a well.
It's not gonna happen. There's too many walls. Can just wall climb back up. It might take a while, but eventually get there. Archive eventually finding some more value with that hook, though. Still behind the enemy here, and is doing a pretty good job of being a nuisance in the back line. What you want from them. Ooh, Kava. Almost gonna take it out by the Hanzo, but McRight click is back in the mix.
High Noon is popped. There it is. Dodges the charge right afterwards as well. Knew that was coming through, and there's a charge kill, but at the cost of Oblivion's own life. That's going to be tough for Metro to continue fighting this fight here without one of their tanks in the equation. Now the stun comes through mid-breather. Acer is just getting hammered here left and right from the East Coast team, reinforced by Bird, thankfully, and gets the 2 kills after that. The tank line is coming back in this fight and continuing to put the work in here. 99% OT bar has been triggered, and that is looking like a cap here for Metro. Mana class, we have a 1-1 lineup right now for Control. Last one's gonna take the win for this map.
Right, we're talking about, how close the series is going to be. It looks to be a lot closer than our last one. And that's a good thing, because we like seeing some close Overwatch. And now, it's going to be a real question who's going to be better on this particular point. And of course, I'm going to have to give the edge, at least the initial edge, to the team that's running the Junkrat, because that's just going to provide so much value when you're playing in such an enclosed area of an objective.
Yeah, Junkrat outputs a nasty amount of damage from just his primary fire. And when he pops you with a concussion mine in your face, it definitely usually sends you back to spawn from my personal experience. Hopefully, Kelly Dud can get set up in a way that this amount of spam damage is impactful and really stunts East Coast's ability to push forward and aggress. Looks like it's not doing much though. They have already picked 2 people off from Metro, and they're continuing to be aggressive here on this high ground area. They go for the pin, but doesn't find much there. Might be, it doesn't really matter. They've got the kills in their favor, and Metro has been sent back.
The biotic grenade from Majin really changed everything in that fight, because the positioning was completely there for Metro. But unfortunately, if that biotic grenade comes in, positioning doesn't matter because they can just shred you down so easily without support. They have all that healing advantage. East Coast is the high grounds. Metro's going to have to walk into this one and try and find an opening for the Junkrat to find value. It's going to be a lot harder. Kelly Dud does already have a Riptire, so it could still be very surprising.
And Riptire can shut down a fight before it even happens with 1 or 2 kills on that front. They are going to be looking to get the Immortality Field used early beforehand, so nothing can save them last minute. Oh, he gets stunned and gets taken down! Kelly Dud can't use the Riptire in time, and now they're down a large amount of DPS as well from the Metro side. Shatter comes through, finding 1 in the point area itself, but it is all cleanup for East Coast.
What a stronghold from East Coast so far. It really reminds me of that first map that we saw, Shrine, where they were just holding so far forward so aggressively. Just doing that again is just getting away with it. Under a bit of pressure right now, but Oblivion's not going to get the better of him there. Has the support of his Ana in the back. Be completely fine. Just charging up to the next Earth Shatter.
I think Game has a really good awareness of when he needs to aggress forward and kite back just at the last moment. Kelly Dud opening up with the Riptire, so who's the victim? There it is! Game is the victim! Poor guy, I didn't mean to cast or curse you there, but Metro now has the doors open for them to take this point, and, well, it's a little bit less than they had the first map with 80% in favor of East, but they're going to have to play some strong defense.
I think they'll be able to do that, though. It's so far been a very back and forth affair, and we saw it last time. They were able to hold on for quite a while. Unfortunately, they did lose it out to East Coast in the end, but there's 80% this time. They will have another fight when they lose, if they lose one.
Nano's online too. Bird goes ahead and sends it over to Oblivion's there. Sleeps Game just in time for Oblivion to get an easy pin onto him in response. There has been a couple trades, but it is Metro looking good on this fight. The Zarya Bubbles trying to stall her out just a little bit, but no one is escaping this. Oh, maybe a bit of an overextension from Oblivion's there. Didn't know the Reinhardt was going to come back. Too greedy, trying to take down the super high charge archive, and now East has flipped this. They are doing their best to aggress forward. That anti onto the is going to be so deadly, and he gets taken down. He can't get healed up, even though Bird was trying to do their best, and Bird is gone too. Metro has no heals on the board for this fight anymore, which means no sustainability. They are going to have to really make some magic happen if they want to continue holding here. Kava's in the back, keeping the threat up, but all in all, I'm shocked that East Coast didn't push in more.
They lost too much. It was very hard to push in. They were spread out, and there was good point presence still from Metro, despite the picks that they were actually getting. Now it's ultimate Fiesta time.
It is going to be a fiesta of ultimates indeed. The nanoed Winston has already come through, and where is this Earth Shatter going to land? Is it going to at 63 health, getting topped off there? He's looking for it, but he needs to be mindful. It is going to be a dance of shields to find value. Ace of Spades has, I mean, all the DPS here have everything in their arsenal. The point has been flipped back into East Coast favor, and Metro's going to have to really, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to recontest without some incredible wall riding. Yeah,
It's
92%
possible.
in
I mean,
counting.
like they get another fight. Like that's definitely happening. They just need to be able to touch, which someone should be able to make it. Oh, doesn't look like it. Unfortunate. They had two mobility tanks and neither of them make it in time. Junker gets slapped on top. Unfortunate. That's kind of a sizzler to end it on, but we have more maps to come. East Coast, fortunately for Metro, wins this one, but it at least means that they're up 1-0 right now. And Metro, I mean, I think they're looking good enough to see them come back in other maps. This could definitely be different than a 3-0 that we had last time.
Oh, yeah. It looks like these teams are feeling a lot more competitive against each other. And, you know, that first map really says it all. We went all 3 rounds, and both teams had pretty substantial amount of point capped. So, like you said, a lot of back and forth coming through. You know, I'm not really sure what they're going to do to clean up some of these kills. It seems like there's just a little bit of scatteredness at the end of just finishing off a couple people. But this is an all-stars game where we have our all-stars mixed up on some new teams. So might be a bit of a contributing factor.
Yeah, I mean, they had the chance once again to go to hybrid, and the hybrid map was either Kings Row or Blizzard World. And of course, we all know that they went for Blizzard. No, they went for Kings Row. Of course, they went for Kings Row. We love it. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see a lot of Reinhardt Zarya come out from these teams because they both really like to run it. So I'm definitely not surprised that they're going here, but we'll see if that changes throughout the match because there's a possibility that on other maps they might want to go some more lifestyle compositions. For now, though, gonna go to Kings Row first, which is going to be again most likely just a brawl fest. There's going to be some reloading for a few players just to make sure their internet's working and their game isn't lagging. So we have a little bit of time before we go to the next one. What are players that you were really looking for?
I am really keeping my eye on the supports. Those
Mhm.
grenades coming through from the Anas in particular are, they can be tide turning abilities if they land properly. Anna's grenade and her ability, the anti nade element actually of the, when you're hit with this as the opposing team, you can't be healed for 4 seconds. Um, as a support player, I know that absolutely sparks panic among other support players because you're instantly cannot, you can't bail anyone out anymore. Um, and so that's a little bit anxiety inducing. But you know, the sleep darts that are following up some of the nano boosts we see or the antis as well is the other like icing on the cake for me to see, like, hey, I just enabled you by keeping your health pool up, by giving you my ultimate, so now you do more damage and take less damage. Oh, and I held them still for you, so you don't have to worry about them running away. Could you ask for a more neatly packaged bow of an elimination? So that's what I've got my eyes
Yeah,
on, support wise.
it's definitely a good thing, and of course, there's more to support than just healing things. Like it's called support for a reason. It's not called healer. So you can see that in the way that the heroes are designed, but also in the situations that occur. Like you said, if your entire team is anti-nated, you can't heal them. What are you going to do then? Well, you can do the exact same thing to the other team, like disable something on their side, or stop them. You're going to try to level the playing field in that situation. Immortality field, amplification matrix, transcendence. There's a lot. Well, transcendence wouldn't work, but you know what I mean, right? Like there's a few things that would actually help you support your team even when they are anti-nated that is not healing. And you see that coming out a few times as well. When there's a nano boost that comes on the enemy Reinhardt. Well, they give him a buff, then I nerf him by just sleep darting him. Then it doesn't matter that he's nanoed. Those type of interactions are just really fun between Anas. But the same thing goes when you have a Zenyatta versus a Mercy. She's trying to damage boost this Pharah. Well, then I put a Discord orb on the Pharah, so that means that the Pharah takes more damage, and it doesn't really matter if you damage boost him or not, because you close both windows. Both the she does more damage, but she also takes more damage window. That being said,
I love it. I mean, I
point,
think Overwatch is balanced really well on that front. Sorry.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, it's been very, very rare that a lot of supports have been viable. With that being said, we're going to King's Row right now. Going straight into this one, the favorite of all, the one map that we never get enough of, and coming in on this Omnic Foundry. I mean, it's still, we've had so much lore about King's Row specifically. There's so many things that are still hidden that we still don't know. It's beautiful, it's well designed, and we're gonna get even more of it in Overwatch 2. But for now, we're gonna have just the East Coast and the Metropolitan team play against each other. It's fun, get some chips.
Bell chips. Oh, fish and chips. Of course, it's fish and chips. We're at King's Row. It's definitely more of a popular item there. I'm curious to see if we're going to, if East Coast is going to stay on this Widowmaker the whole time. I'm a big fan of opening Widowmakers on these type of hybrid and escort maps where you really don't have a lot to lose by trying to headhunt for an opening shot and give your team a whole one-man advantage going into first fight. I think that's a huge tempo setter as well, and Sauerkraut's ready. He knows that they were going to be hunting for him, and waited a little bit, so some damage of those icicles went by from Kava before engaging, but those Kava on that Mei with the wall already used. I'm surprised it was used so early in the fight. I thought it was definitely going to be used to section off members of East Coast, but they've fallen pretty low, and there's the heals getting pumped into them on that front. The tank line doing their best to aggress forward, but the wall does make them fall short on that front. Ace of Spades is on this high ground. Who's going to contest him here with Sauerkraut on the other side? Oh, maybe missed the jump. Not sure on that. Sauerkraut just free-firing down this range. Look how long this sight line is, man of class. No one is putting pressure on him. It's a firing range with no crosswind. You cannot be complaining.
I mean, I'm still waiting for the proper headshots to come out because there's a lot of body shots coming in there. And then it doesn't really matter if you give her space or not. If the Widowmaker doesn't hit, then it is whatever. That being said, being capped, Sauerkraut close to it in for sight, they've been doing damage. He's been good, and they're just gonna continue to push this cart throughout the rest of the streets phase for now. You know what? I think aside from just being a good Widowmaker and having that golden gun, another reason to pick this Widowmaker is just the new skin that they've got equipped. It's there.
Oh
Because they've been playing with skins the entire time. Like I don't know, we just never used to playing with skins anymore these days.
Definitely keeping it exciting here at the All-Stars game. The nanos come through, and both of these Reinhardts are just slugging at each other. Stunned mid-dash through from game. Great shatter coming through from the Metro side. Sauerkraut manages to find a couple kills on the East Coast team, but there it is. Your headshot request taken out, Adra right there, and now East Coast continuing to just roll the payload forward.
Still not a headshot. It was still a body shot. The arrow was white. Yeah, it's getting closer though. They're getting closer. They're starting to aim at head height. It can't help it if they jump, It's not your fault. I'm not gonna be like that. Of course, just an elimination is elimination. That's what it comes down to. 5 minutes 35 to get into point 3. It's a pretty good roll so far from East Coast, and what we were saying, well, it was pretty close on Nepal, so far, it's not looking like a close affair on this attack.
Yeah, East Coast has definitely thrown Metro off their balance and continues to take advantage of that, pushing forward over and over. Game has that Earth Shatter online. There it is! Goes ahead and launches it into Metro right there. A lot of kills coming through to follow up on that front, and they just cleave through everyone.
What an amount of damage. And now they're gonna have this application matrix as well, just set it up, have it aim at both spawn doors at the same time. It's gonna be a beautiful time for them. Still not pulling it out though. Interesting. I for sure thought he was gonna come with it with a tech visor, but I guess they just didn't need it.
You know, celebratory attack visor. Closing it out there.
No, because the tech visor got value. I was waiting for the application matrix just to come out there. Yeah.
Oh.
That was the one. That was what I was waiting for. Just more damage. It's fine. They got the point. It doesn't matter. It's just, you know, would have been like a lot of cherries on that sundae, to be honest. And I don't know if you want to go for that much fruits. It's a dessert, you know? Don't want to be healthy.
Fruit tart. Here we go. That was I have to say that's a fast time East Coast set for Kings Row. 4:43. Metro's going to have to, I mean, set a blazing pace if they want to have that much time, or at least finish with time if they want to take this to the next round.
They really do. And of course, it's very possible on Kings Row. Maybe both teams are just very bad at defending. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. We'll see what... I mean, you have it sometimes. Either teams are just really good at attacking or is really bad at defending, or look a little bit of both. But this Sombra pick, I like this. I like just throwing something different at it. I don't know if defense is the best place for it, because it does take you a while to get the MP online. But if you can get a good hack target, like if you can hack the Reinhardt as they're engaging, or the Ana or something like that, then you can really stop the power behind their push straight away.
Sonic Arrow coming out from Kava, gonna scope out a few people for his team, but all in all, sticking to the high ground here and gonna be putting that pepper damage in. Since East Coast does not have a sniper to respond, you know, some of that, well, the one-shot potential is not there, and a lot can, I mean, you can be a lot more aggressive as a sniper when that's the case. They are getting aggressive as we speak. Metro moving forward onto the point here. East Coast loses their Baptiste early in this fight, and the other support is following. Metro trying to do their best to continue moving forward, but they are getting the kills they need. Kelly Dud just absolutely not a dud, coming up huge with a hat trick on that last engagement.
This is going to be a pretty decent first point cap as well, like in tempo wise. So they're still on track to potentially match, or at least be close to the time that East Coast set for them. It's not easy. I think they're still going to be a little bit slower, but they did make a good start at getting it going. And Hanzo on attack on Kings Row, it's been such a staple of late that I'm not at all surprised they're pulling it out. It's gonna work pretty well. Gamism almost taken out by 2 headshots. Just barely manages to survive. The rest of the team is ready. There's Kelly Dud, and there goes Gamism. Dude, what is it with these flanking Reinhardts today? Like, do they really think they're gonna get away with it, even in All-Star?
Oh, the shatter is thrown. Doesn't find anyone. They managed to skirt around the edge of the corner just in time too. But yeah, those Reinhardts coming around the flanks. We've seen some crazy tank flanking coming through in general. Oblivions gets away with their life, and now they are full charge. You got to be so careful pushing into that, but so is Archive. These Zaryas are going to melt people really quick. Ooh, someone dropped in from behind. There he is, jumping forward. Bird punishes Sauerkraut for the audacity of getting so in their face, taken down. And now Metro has popped their own sound barrier, pushing forward. They're taking the part to the second point and trying to prevent East Coast from even having a chance at recontesting. I love this aggression, finishing off the supports here. Archive is taken down, which is going to be a lot of reset on his charge for his weapon as well.
Right now, they're just rolling. Like, they're just absolutely barreling through this entire map. Still on track to match, maybe even improve on this time now, but not with a shatter like that. Gamism finally gets them, finally gets their number, and now they have to probably reset a little bit, because 3 down is not going to be fighting condition.
I mean, speaking of conditions, Metro here gonna have both Death Blossom and Dragon. I mean, look at all of them they have online. It is gonna be, like you said, an ult fiesta of what happens next, and curious to see what they're gonna do engagement-wise. We've seen the, Ant Matrix open up the fight a lot of times, and hopefully no one gets clipped with that Fire Strike. Earth Shatter is actually going to be the one that starts it off, though. Both grabs are thrown from each team, and it's going to be Kelly Dud using that Death Blossom to try to take out the members of East Coast. They've lost a few members of their own Metro team, but they've got 3, and they're moving the payload.
So far, they have not been stopped for much, but they have been stopped just enough for this time bank to be a little bit lower. They have some ultimates to work with, especially the support ultimates are going to be vital, but they do need to be careful of that shatter or just off the pure headshot of Sauerkraut. That sometimes just stops everything in its tracks anyways.
Shatter comes through, nothing. Oh, one found there. Exchanges found back and forth actually. Now both Reinhardts are out of the equation, so there's no shields for anybody, and kills are still exchanged. This is the Soundbarrier coming through from Metro though to reinforce all of their players and trying to continue enabling them to do the damage that needs to be done. East Coast though is holding strong here for this 3rd point defense, and it seems like the spawns are going to be a little bit too much for Metro.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to seeing what they can do with this hold. I mean, they still have 3.5 minutes to go if they want to outright win the map. On the other side, gonna have Metro trying to complete this map still, but they're already down a significant portion of time. Like, it's over a minute already. It still changes a lot of the dynamics. Sauerkraut keeps getting these pickoffs. It's insane.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know when to stop.
This is the danger of having a sniper on your team, and even if they're not hitting those headshots, the threat alone is so deadly. Once again, both Reinhardts are out of the equation early in the fight, but Oblivion's follows very quickly. East Coast has taken down both tanks from the Metro team, so curious to see what Metro's gonna do here. They're gonna have to wait just a little bit. Sights are popped here now, and East Coast gonna have that advantage. No one sneaky possibly from Metro, and the Dragons tear through. There's the Reaper teleporting right in front of their face. Sauerkraut didn't see the little Wraith elements popping up, probably too focused on that sight all the way through. We know what that's like, and now Kelly Dudd is just hanging out there on the high ground. He has been spotted, finally TPing back away to a bit of safety and out of sight again, but he's going to be hunting to be death from above as that Reaper. Those shotguns take people down very quickly. The Shatter is online. What are we going to see from both of these Reinhardts? They're going to be dancing around each other, potentially walking right past each other's shield. There it is, a bit of mind games, and the pin comes through. What a clutch immortality field from Adra, keeping Azer alive. Without that, he would have gone down, but instead he's enabled to take those extra swings and finish off Gameson. Now, Sauerkraut does take out Adra. It's tough for Metro to push in, but East Coast is trying to do their best to hold the defensive strong. Sauerkraut continuing to get the kills in the back line for the East Coast team here. Metro, once again, has to go back to spawn with only 1:34 left on the clock.
Only 1:28 now to go. They have so many ultimates. Like, if there's ever a push they're gonna make it, it's this one if they will use everything. But Sauerkraut is ready. Looks for that first pickoff again. Doesn't quite find it initially, but maybe still has a chance.
Oh, there it is! Multiple kills coming through from Kava, and that opens the door for Metro to push this all the way to the end. And there it is, the 3rd checkpoint capped in their favor. We are going to be going on to another round and see if these guys can pull a win out.
2 more rounds to go, but it's a big time difference. 3 minutes 40, only 3 minutes 39 if you want to be exact about it. It's a lot. It's a lot of difference. It's like it's an entire completion of King's Row difference.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's not easy. 1:04. Yeah, I don't know. If they basically don't lose fights and push it all the way to the end, then they're definitely putting up a big fight. and then there's going to be a question whether or not East Coast can also make it. But it did take them quite a while to get through third. Second, I can definitely believe they may be able to do, because they kind of didn't lose a fight until second. But
Mhm.
third is going to be where they're likely going to get stopped if that's the
Yeah.
case.
Well, I would like to see East Coast step up their defense here. It felt like Metro really just waltzed on in through the choke point almost unhindered. And when you got attackers coming towards you, you need to make sure you're peppering them all the way, and it is never an easy walk. Door's about to open
Coming
here
out
to
of the
kick it
gates,
off.
Winston. They want to make tempo. That's all this Winston's for. Space and tempo. Just as fast as possible, but they're already down. Another game isn't flank working out.
Yeah, 2 people down for Metro early in this fight. They're resetting fast because they know that's what they got to do if they want to have another solid chance at pushing.
I mean, they have another chance at least. That's going to be fine, but it's going to be their last proper one because they won't be able to win or lose a fight quickly enough to have another full reset. No ultimates aligned for anybody close. This is probably Gamism on that Reinhardt, not surprising. Gonna have to be ready for the shatter.
I don't know if they are. The Reinhardt dance has been pretty back and forth between the two. There it is. The flash comes through and he goes for the solo shatter on the side. Doesn't quite find him now, but the point is it is a scrappy fight on the point. A couple people continuing to go down from Metro as East Coast is holding defensively very, very strong. Cleaving through Metro as they trickle onto the point now in a desperate attempt to keep the OT bar up. And that is going to be it. The last one cleared out. East Coast managing to hold strong here on this first point. Oh, still going on, contesting strong. Metro not giving up at all. Now they've got the Reinhardt on the point, but they can't quite get the kills to turn the fight in their favor. And there it is. East Coast now holding strong for a round 3 defense.
We're talking about 33.333334% to get on point A with more time than you normally get the entirety of point A. It's almost unfathomable that they will not win out this map, but there is always the "but it's Overwatch" type of sentiment, right?
Yes.
Always possible.
Yeah, the thing about actually, I don't think this is actually specific to just Overwatch. Whenever you're on a team of any sport, when one becomes complacent, it opens the door massively for the other one to take advantage of that. And Overwatch is absolutely one of those ones where any amount of complacency really can snowball into the favor of the other team. And walk back spawn times are a huge factor to keep in mind when goofing off on that front. So, I want to make sure I want to see these guys continue to play crisp and serious because even though they have 443 on the time bank, if they don't rotate their ultimates enough or do not combat some of the incoming damage properly, they're never going to cap it.
I respect the Kava Fire choice. Also very worried because Sauerkraut's on the Widowmaker. It's one of those where I respect it. I think it could be really cool, but you have just been headshot by the Widowmaker one too many times to really want to risk it. Then again, there is some cover here. You can realistically play around it. It's just not ideal. Sauerkraut actually switching over to the Junkrat. They want to break this bunker more than they want to deal with the fire, and they think they can do it with the extra nade pressure. Really to get close enough to do it.
Ace of Spades continuing to bombard and pepper Metro from this really nice far angle, not getting a ton of pressure put on them as their team takes the dirty fight here in the front lines and gets all the kills for him. Wow, huge plays coming through from the tank line of East Coast. And now that Metro has been cleared out, that's going to be a cap and a win coming through for East Coast. Oh, so King's Row.
Series. Throw up in our hearts. Oh no, wait, that's not how that works. Yeah, no, Kelly Dud gets play of the game for some nice Reaper shenanigans. I really like the Reaper play. It's of course been more than decent lately in the meta in general, but with the recent patch they came out where Reaper, starts to do even more lifesteal, he's becoming more and more of an animal every single time that we see a patch come through. And I'm getting kind of scared, for everyone who doesn't really know how to deal with a Reaper, because it's going to be even harder.
Your statement about how every patch is turning him into more of an animal, so true. Wow, that resonates really well with me because he, as I've mentioned as a support player, when he rates behind, if no one's coming to peel for you, you're pretty much strung out to dry on your own. And that is really tough, like you said, for anyone not ready to combat or familiar with combating a Reaper. Um, Gotta say, I think, Metro needs to bring a little more heat to the game. They've been doing really good, but some of that defensive element seems to just tumbleweed out of
Be
control for them a
lost.
bit as soon as they're
Yeah.
knocked off balance.
And look, it's understandable. Like we said, we're playing an all-star match here. These players don't know each other. I mean, some of them do, but like it's not a full-fledged team that just comes out of nowhere.
Totally.
So there's always going to be some struggles in terms of communication or synergy, etc. And then you got to figure out what can we run that doesn't rely on synergy or communication that much. And most of the time, you get into these weird, flank DPS type of things with just way
Hmm.
too much healing. You get a Moira and an Ana, or a Baptiste and an Ana, or a Baptiste and a Moira. Like it's overly aggressive on the heals, just overly aggressive on the flankers. It's like, you get the Genjis, maybe not Genjis, but like the Tracers and the Widowmakers out, like those type of things.
Yeah.
These teams are showing elements of that, but they're still confident enough that they can play something that's close enough to meta that it still makes sense, because that's really where the meta's gone, like where the game is gone. Everyone is so experienced and knows so much about the game now that these base compositions just work regardless of whether you know people that you're playing with or not.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there on the synergy elements of, team comps and who does and doesn't work well together. It's also, tough when you you're thrown together on this team and, you have to have essentially blind faith that your teammates are going to be able to fulfill the role and duties that they have. And Overwatch is very much a team sport, and the amount of communication needed is really, really strained and so impactful that when you're thrown on these teams, it's a lot more obvious that some of the communication is lacking. But it's not like a normal traditional sport where you can see them running and jumping how fast they are. These guys, this is all about communication. And if your communication isn't on, it's not going to be nearly as easy to anticipate.
It really isn't. And as we're going to Hanamura, the assault map, this is where communication really comes in.
Oof.
Especially if you have a good defense set up, that attack needs to coordinate properly to break through it. I mean, that's what the pinnacle of assault is, the assault game mode. Enemy team, they create a safe, they set a combination, and you have to find a way to break that lock, to break open that safe. And sometimes, you put a very careful ear to it. You try and find the right number, left and right and left and right, and eventually clicks open. And sometimes just brute forces. You take a stick of dynamite, you run away, it blows up, and then the objective is yours. But this time around, it's gonna all be about what East Coast is gonna try and pull out. They're going to start on the attack. It's going to be the defense first for Metro once again. And if I look at what the defense is pulling out right now, I'm liking that they're going a little bit back to, I wouldn't say back to basics, but back to things that definitely felt comfortable for them. Izir on the Roadhog, Kelly out on the Junkrat, Kava on the McCree. These are definitely picks that I can agree with, and they have that overflow of healing and utility in the Ana and the Baptiste. Was a composition that I would say, yeah, this probably works regardless of whether you know your teammates. This would be the one.
We'll have to see if they can, continue bringing the heat, or if, we're gonna have a little bit of change of pace. Oblivion's starting off just on this side here, waiting patiently. Big hook comes through early though from Azer, so I guess, not a lot of sneak attacks, and not a lot of sneak attack opportunity for Oblivion. And East Coast just continuing to move into the choke. They get hooked and then taken down one after another. That's going to be a reset.
I think Gamism just walked out there to see if there was any shenanigans going on, because Oblivions was waiting on that flank, and it was only the Roadhog. Everyone else was just in spawn. That was an interesting move. Like, I don't know if there was word ready or whether that was the strat. I don't know why it wasn't the Sombra, for instance. If you're gonna scout, but I guess it worked. No, Gamism just wants to walk in and try and live, which is not working right now.
The big heals coming out from Bird as well, keeping so many members alive. Oblivion's just relentlessly aggressive. You cannot continue to pocket them when they're that far forward, but it looks like Metro doing a great job at keeping East back and at bay.
Now they have 2 tanks down. They're still returning from spawn. This could be a quick attack coming out for East to make sure that they're at least getting through the choke, because that's going to be the least protected area without tanks. It might be the Oblivions is back just in time. Yeah, that looks to be the case. They actually can regroup here and make sure they're this far forward objective.
Yeah, holding this close choke point here. Sauerkraut on the high ground gets hooked! Azer notices him right away. He was not sneaky at all. Takes him out of the equation and also takes the dragons out of the equation in response. Both hooks are thrown through, but the pin is good for Metro, and they continue to hold the defense very strong at this choke point.
You can just see how much more comfortable they are now that there's one single area of like a few square meters to focus on. It's such a tiny space that they really need to worry about, and it comes in through everything. Oblivion's countering that sleep dart with that shattered immortality field came out on time. The nano comes out. Like, these things are just there to create synergy in a very limited space, and now the flank charge, it's gonna happen.
Pinned right there from the back. So aggressively coming through from the Metro team, just hiding in the back, waiting for them to walk by. Now, poor anyone walking into Kelly Dudd and his mines here. This is so much damage. There's the concussion to the face, finishing off Majin. He can't quite get the BAP. He's jumping around left and right, and he still hasn't gotten him. Oh, finally gets taken down, but what a juke coming through from Zinlin there. Now, East trying to continue holding the point here, but Metro's got a lot of people and East has got a lot of people and they are capping very well.
That was ridiculous that Baptiste's staying alive. Like, that melee could have come in like 5 times over and it just didn't come through, unfortunately. They are gonna recontest this potentially a little bit. They are there. No, they didn't actually objective enough. Well, actually, I say that Rip Tire is out. Yep, they hold.
That's it. Kelly Dudd just almost single-handedly held the point himself for that entire fight. Saw a little bit of struggle taking down the BAP, but I guess it doesn't matter when you follow up with a play like that, man of class.
It's a quick respawn because you can just go through the cliff, right? You don't have to walk all that way that the tanks have to do. You can just jump over. I think most of the tanks can make that jump as well, actually. Riser, not going to be lucky. Because Iser is going to be lucky because Archive is not going to win that log 1v1. Now with 5 seconds left, who's going to touch? Who's going to make it?
There's a nano comes through as well onto Iser, but we'll have to see if that gets any additional kills. The Earth Shatter's online. Who's Oblivion's gonna pick as the victim? There it is, preventing anyone from moving even closer to the front, and that's going to be a fantastic defensive hold for Metro on this round 1.
Metro is hungry for more. They don't want to stop after 3 maps. They want to keep on going. And now East Coast, a pretty big hurdle. I mean, we've seen it just now. You can hold point A. It's possible. We haven't seen it for ages, but it's possible, I guess. So let's see what they're going to be doing here on the other side when they have to defend their own thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough defense because obviously Metro only has to attack the first point and get that checkpoint. It's a long walk back from spawn, and hopefully East has their hops ready to jump across that little sideway and reduce that time.
I mean, like I said, it's possible, and we just seen it happen. So yeah, like we talk. That's the funny part, right? Like, when the first attack happens, you kind of assume that first point is going to be taken. But then as soon as that first point doesn't get taken, about the second defense, you're then saying, oh, well, they must not also be able to hold first. Like, it's such a weird economy that we always talk about that. But I guess that's where we're at. It is true though that if you only have to take the first point, you can go into a very different composition. So you could go for the ultimate. If these two ultimates combine, we will just win a fight, and we only really need to win once. Like, EMP Nano Blade. It's very wasteful, but you only need to win one fight. So why not do it?
Yeah. There's no reason to keep your resources. You use them or lose them, and fire the whole 9 yards if that's what it takes to win. Kelly Dudd opening up the kill feed though. Sauerkraut brought back just as quickly from Majin though. That's the love of a Mercy coming in for him. Metro has moved very quickly onto this point and are capping it. One tick already in their favor. East Coast needs to rotate and contest here any way they can. There it is. The kills coming through for the defensive team. Hooks for Azer though. Not surprising. He was on fire on the defensive round, but wow, really great push coming through from Metro, and they managed to already get, just under 2 ticks. That was close, but 1 full tick.
Right. And if that exact play happens again, they get almost 2 ticks, then they win. That exact play again, they just win. But they're going to switch off the Symmetra, so they're going to be the exact same play. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this Mei, though, if they're not going to teleport in. Because it is, they're going to try and find a wall on someone, I guess.
Yeah, we might see the wall used here to allow them to walk through the side hallway, or we might just see it plain old used to section people off. Ant Matrix thrown for Metro, and there's the tire over the top! Adra's the one taken down, and that's going to be East Coast doing a great job at continuing to hold strong on the defensive.
We always say, what's possible, it's Overwatch, and it's actually looking to be very possible right now. Almost half the time bank already gone. By the time they will start this next attack, it probably will have been gone. And they do almost did almost get those 2 ticks, but they still need a little bit more in order to win out this map.
Yeah, charging ultimates up a bit as well. Gonna be looking to bait out the others from East. There's the Reinhardt getting nanoed from East team here, and he has to hide behind to avoid some of the other damage coming through from Metro. A big hook comes through, and now a couple members are gone from East. Metro is up by 1, but can they maintain this man-up advantage? Adra trying to do their best to support the Reinhardt, just constantly pumping in the heals, but the pin is going to be too much to handle and force him back after that. East Coast continuing to do a great job at holding defensively strong, but Kava, massive coming up for the Metro team. That's going to put them on the edge, and now nobody's there. Nobody's there to contest from the East Coast team. 1 tick or 2 ticks is almost there. There it is, and now the grab is thrown. Good thing from East Coast coming through from Ace of Spades, trying to find that barrage, but doesn't get the value it needs, and that is going to be Metro taking the map win here on Volskaya.
I'm getting a 2-1 in the series, East Coast. They needed one more, and they still do. And Metro looking to make a comeback. Great showing for them, and Kava was really the hero of that entire push. They were not doing so hot. They're really looking problematic, but Kava manages to find that flank, manages to come from behind and just take down there's a Junkrat, then another support, then takes down the Mercy, and it's just over after that. It's such a beautiful flank coming out from the McCree without actually flanking, kind of just walks through the team and then comes from behind again. It's that awareness that we keep talking about in these series, and the chaos that All-Stars apparently provides also really enables flankers a lot.
That's a little bit of normal Overwatch chaos too, probably in the mix. Those flankers just consistently missed by the opposing team. We saw the Reaper teleporting almost right in front of Widowmaker at one point. A lot of side damage coming through. But, I'm curious to see if maybe the recognition will start showing up here in our next match. It is going to be 2-1 of East Coast versus Metro currently. So we're going to take a quick break here, folks, and come back and see how the teams continue to duke it out here in our All-Stars event. Hey, folks, and welcome back to the Overwatch 2021 EGFH All Star event. We are seeing our current matchup of East Coast versus Metro here. And well, the score is 2-1, and we're looking to see if Metro wants to keep maintaining their momentum and bring in the heat to the game. Of course, big thanks to everyone who helped make this happen with EGFH and our collaborators of ESPN and Disney for bringing all the magic behind the scenes. But man, a class. Metro here is going to be looking to really continue their momentum from last game and keep themselves in this fight. Obviously, it's best of five. So, what do you think they're thinking about?
Winning, pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what both these teams are doing now. It's been a very serious matchup. Like these teams are not playing around. They're not going for the turb 1v1s. They're not trying any really weird strats. There are some fun shenanigans here and there, right? Like yeah, they do some flank bastion, so some flank Reinhardt. They play some of this, some of that, like do some Symmetra strats, but it's generally speaking been very forward. It's just winning games on merit and not on some weird creative things. Not that we don't mind those, but it just shows that these teams just want to win. Like they're just being competitive about it, and that's a very different All Star match that we saw earlier on, which will also make for a very interesting finals most likely.
Yeah, two different mindsets definitely to these all-star matches, and I gotta say I am really enjoying the level of competitiveness we're seeing both the Metro and the East Coast All-Star teams bring to this. We're here on Gibraltar with our payload map, so a different type of tempo play compared to our previous assault map. Looks like Ace of Spades gonna go ahead and just start looking for that flank early, just like we talked about. A lot of flanks happening, and Metro has set up here on the high ground. They're going to continue peppering down from above onto East Coast, but East Coast is going to try to roll that payload forward right under the bridge. The trap! He's caught in the trap. He didn't see it in time. I barely saw it myself, but he gets taken down as a response. And Metro holding strong here defensively. The point has moved forward quite a bit, but not a big deal for them, Mana Class.
Definitely not, but we're just playing a very different map right now. Like I do really like that this is so open. There's a lot of dive potential. Not that they're playing a lot of into it, but we see the hits can already come out. Like this time, Kava on the already doing quite a bit of work.
2 kills already through. A hat trick coming through from Oblivions, but pays for it with his life. So gonna be walking back from spawn, probably charging back much quicker though. Man of class, East Coast is gonna have to, break through this defense of Metro.
Yeah, Metro so far has been a very strong defensive team. We saw it happen on Hanamura, and it's just looking to continue here on Gibraltar. And I'm kind of questioning almost why Sauerkraut hasn't gone over to the Widowmaker. I know it's a little bit tricky to find the angles against that double shield, but it's such an open map, you should be able to find something.
Yeah, well, it's all Metro finding the kills in their favor. By the time East Coast has made it around enough to engage them, it seems like they've lost so many members in the process. Gameson goes for a long ride there, taking the other Reinhardt, but all in all, it's still going to be Metro holding strong for this defense and, well, got a ton of ultimates online to use as well. Nice dodge of the dive coming through from Kava. Got really low pressure-wise there, and Archive even popped the Primal Raids to try to follow up additionally onto that. But now that Bob is online, that's going to be another person that can come through for Metro to put some off damage pressure onto East Coast as they push forward. The Riptire here is online, and there it is, the Earth Shatter. Oh no, that's a sleep coming through onto Oblivions. Does give him a moment to sit down, but both teams exchanging back and forth here. It's kind of a scrappy fight at the top of this archway, and now, oh, is the Riptire really gonna do this? Dropped straight from above. 3K right there. Kelly Dud stopping them in their tracks.
Just dunking on him like there's no tomorrow. What a great play from Kelly Dodd. I mean, it was just well set up by the complete cornering in that car wash. This is the reason why you go through the high ground. The reason why the high ground control is so important. Because then there cannot be a Junkrat just above you dropping a Rip Tire down. See if they're gonna change their approach at all. East Coast definitely going through the high ground this time around. Where are they gonna choose to initiate? Because just standing in the distance has not worked out for them so far.
And Metro here, I mean, standing in the distance is not going to be a problem for Metro with that Orisa either. Bunker, that is what it means to be a bunker comp. You get ready and free fire as they continue to push forward. The duel from Sauerkraut and Kava actually goes in favor of Sauerkraut. East Coast is going to be up a man, and ooh, the supercharger will be tough to push into. Azer mows down Sauerkraut as these middle high noon and takes advantage of all the damage boosts popped by the bongos, and they just took down East Coast directly in the middle of that attack there. No chance coming through, and now they can't even touch the point. There it is. Oh, East Coast bringing it back here. They've got a few people now, but oh, Oblivion's is so low. Good thing Bird is there popping off the heels. Now Ant Matrix has been thrown, and the tanks are going to be very well popped off from Bird. Now it's continuing to hold and try to push forward, but East Coast can't quite find the traction. They're trickling in, and Metro is getting the kills one after another. A good jump in from Ace of Spades, but another outstanding defense coming through from the Metro team.
And Metro just unstoppable, or well, rather unbreakable. I think that's more
Yeah.
appropriate here. Let's see if they're maybe also unstoppable when they go on their own attack. They don't have to be unstoppable for long. Only 75.11 meters. It's not that long of a distance to go.
Less than a
But
football
Gibraltar
field.
first points. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long football field is, but I'll take your word for that one. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one to get through for East Coast, like to stop this, but it's possible. Again, it's Gibraltar. It's one of those maps that first point can just be very strongly held, especially if that high ground control just is always given up by the attacking team, because you can just keep firing projectiles down and just other damage without really being able to get to them. And that's a problem for an attacking team. Defense high ground advantage is there in the beginning, but you need to find a way to take it or make it irrelevant. And East Coast wasn't able to do that. Let's see if Metro is going to be able to find a way to get around that. Because of course they didn't pick this map, but that makes it all the more surprising about what they're doing.
That's true on that front, and it is going to be all about dislodging your opponent from the high ground. High ground is so advantageous, and there it is. Kava actually going to just be aggressive here to start off up main, shooting rapidly with the Bastion down and mowing everybody's shields out of the way. They've already started rolling the point forward. Are they going to pirate ship this all the way forward and take it and try to take it to the end? Okay, here we go.
They might as well try it.
Yeah. It's a strong, I mean, once you're set up, it can be extremely difficult to dislodge and jump down on. It's going to take a lot of, well, communication and coordination. Metro continuing to roll the point forward here. Sauerkraut gets a big flashbang, but there's so many people to turn around and look at him right away. The Bastion is too much and just continues to mow people down as they walk through, and that is Metro coming away with another win.
2-2, one more map to close it out. Control, can't draw. First to 3 means map 5 is all we get, but map 5 is what we get, and that's already exciting enough in and of itself. It's almost a shame that it's such a different match than we had before because it's so close, but that also makes it exciting at the same time. Kelly Dud in that triple kill with the rip tire still. I mean, it was a relatively easy play to pull off, but it's still the fact that they set Kelly Dud up to make that play in the first place is what makes the defense successful, but mostly what makes that attack unsuccessful. The freedom on that high ground, the freedom of the DPS, that was really what did East Coast in there. And I mean, thinking about control, at least there you don't have to worry about uneven high grounds because you're going to start at the same place. But depending on which map they're going to, it is still going to be tricky.
Yeah, well, obviously Metro here is really looking to come back in this fight. If they manage to take this last map, it will be a reverse sweep in their favor, but East Coast won control. So is history going to repeat itself, or is Metro going to be looking to change up the outcome of the first map?
Okay, well, it was really close on control last time, so it's definitely possible that East Coast still wins, but also that Metro wins. The map pick is going to decide a lot. They're going to go to Oasis. I think that might be a good call, but it's still an interesting one because they didn't quite go for that more mobile dive play with a Widowmaker on Gibraltar. And Oasis is a map that mostly plays very well into those same play styles as well. It's not like Gibraltar where Reinhardt is completely like when it's completely unplayable, like a lot harder to pull off because there is so much blocking you from high grounds.
Yes.
But especially city center, it's a lot harder to pull that off. Like you want the mobility. Fortunately for them, not starting on city center, we're starting on university. So going to Oasis here, we'll be starting out with those Reinhardt duels most likely. But only one way to find out what these teams are actually playing. That's to get them out of the spawn doors. For now, let's just enjoy some beautiful architecture. Some beautiful architecture it is on Oasis here. Yeah, I mean, Gardens is just it's university here, right? So it's I'm just not finding my words at the moment. It's okay, people.
That's
Gonna be
all
starting
right.
here at our university once again, East Coast and Metro. In the All-Star event, the last map of this series, whoever wins this is going to face off against West in the finals after this. And, well, at least that will be warmed up.
That's true. And West Coast did win their matchup 3-0. So they came in with a bit of vengeance to start off, and it's going to be a exciting match of whoever wins this one versus them next. We'll have to see who wants it more. Kava opens up the kill feed though onto Ace of Spades. We'll have to see if the dives and that one punch potential continues to be a massive threat. He gets in the face of the Baptiste and then just decides to change targets, pop the Ana a couple times, and Metro pushes back East here on this defense. And well, I guess no one here is technically on defense yet, but on this first push.
I'm going to be Iser back on that Roadhog. I mean, we saw how powerful this was on Hanamura, and it's just gonna come back. Every single time that hook goes out, you gotta almost be certain that someone will die on the other side. So Metro in a great place to start out with here.
We're going to be looking to see how Sauerkraut can combat Azer as well. The pin is coming through, and Oblivions actually gets the first kill. A lot of people on the ground from Metro, though, from that shatter, and it is a chaos fight here on the point, back and forth between the two teams. A couple members continuing to go down from Metro, but that anti-nade was very discouraging for a moment coming through from Adra there. Now they're on the back end as they have to give some space here. People are low and gets taken down. Poor Adra right after they give the nano boost over to Azer. Cannot continue reinforcing him, and just not quite enough for Metro to hold the point on that front.
It's the classic combination. You put out the amplification matrix as soon as the Reinhardt fire strikes, so you get that instant burst. He's just not ready for that. It's a 200. Everyone who is 200 HP or lower will just die. We're going to be seeing a lot of ultimates come in for both teams. This could just very well be fireworks, but Kava is looking for the angle. Already goes early with the meteor strike.
There it is, Immortality Field used up early as well. The Shatter comes through, but it's all Metro basically in the kill feed here. They did lose Kava in the battle, but the damage has been done. They've got the advantage, and now they're capping with 55% and counting up. Another nasty hook coming through from Azer there. They have got to be more careful about those.
They really do, but on the other hand, they also need to find openings, and if you can keep wanting to go on flanks, then those hooks are eventually going to find you. And Sauerkraut right now is trying to go on a flank on the McCree, but still needs to be careful. Nice grab to start off, though.
Whole Hog trying to save his Reinhardt, but can't quite get the damage to be threatening enough. Now East Coast goes ahead, pops a lot of their own ultimates in response, and continue to clear the members of Metro out, changing the tempo quite a lot.
There was a lot of ultimates used, though, 4 in total. On the other side, they'll still have 3 left. huge difference. It's not something that's unstoppable to play against, but you do wonder whether it's worth it to use all those ultimates.
Going around the side here from Kelly Dud, we've seen some absolutely devastating Riptire plays come through from him, and curious to see if that's going to continue to hold true here. He's obviously going to be looking for it, but doesn't want to get taken down in that vulnerable state. Look at that, so aggressive here, flying straight over the top and gets in their face for a tire. Then is in position to launch it right into the back line there. And as the points flipped over into Metro's favor, they are 92% and counting. East Coast flips over to Stalk and Speedy characters to try to make it back and contest for any OT. And there it is, just in the nick of time, Majin makes it on that Lucio. Don't know if it's going to be enough to continue to sustain this OT bar. And yes, East Coast managing to come back in this trickle fight, but Oblivions is there at the gateway, holding strong and charging everyone a nasty entry fee of their life to enter the point here, and it's going to be Metro taking this first round.
Metro has just changed so much after those first two maps. I think the biggest thing for them is, I alluded to it when we started on Hanamura, they're just playing heroes that they know, that they're comfortable with, and that work. Not trying anything fancy in terms of, oh, we're trying to play meta, or we're trying to play this, or no, they're just playing what they want to play. Bird and Adra have been consistently on high output supports, working well together in tandem. Kelly Dot on the Junkrat has just been really valuable. Iser on the Roadhog, Kava, Oblivions, like everyone is just, they're not really changing much up. The only things they're changing like a few things every now and then, like a DPS or a tank, but most of it has been very the same and comfortable and therefore working. And it's a good strategy. Like we said before, if you don't know the teammates that you're with as well as normal, play what you guys can play.
And I would say Metro is definitely looking more and more comfortable with each other and their, fellow teammates' skills. Oblivion's already just opening up so aggressively with a charge. He's got the reinforcements there, and East Coast on the run, heading back, giving space, trying to just get out with their lives, but it is a rough fight here. The healers are split off from each other, and I feel bad for anyone who gets stalled and trickled out after this.
That's going to happen regardless, though. 6% and counting. It's first control for Metro, and it looks like they've just broken East Coast. East Coast is just not bringing anything to the table anymore. And once again, they chose this map. They know exactly what's gonna come. They already had a game plan ready for this. Maybe they do, but it's just not coming to fruition right now.
Big jump comes through, and the anti-nade also there, right up on landing, making it easy for Kava to just fan the hammer straight into Archive there. Oh, does get shot in the back because of the high noon waiting around, and well, Metro continuing to hold strong here. Now, of course, Azer gets another hook kill. We're not surprised anymore. He's been so consistent on that front, but East Coast fighting strong here, getting the kills against Metro and looking to flip this point.
A lot of effort went in there in order to set some sort of flank play up to get Kelly Dud. Both the first Archive jumps on him, then Kava goes on, Sauerkraut goes on the flank, Ace of Spades goes behind as well. Like, they really want that Junkrat out of the back line. And I can imagine it. It's a lot of damage that just kind of randomly seems to come into your team that you're not ready for. And Kelly Dud's been so valuable for that reason.
Valka's popped by Majin here. One person's already been down on the team, and he's going for the res. Does manage to bring back Sauerkraut, but they are down a couple people and has to pay for it with his life. Sauerkraut does manage to find some value and put the work in, but oh man, it's shut down! Nice job coming through from Sauerkraut, recognizing Kelly Dud trying to run the same tactic here. She takes out the tire before it can reach his team, but it might have been a little bit, just not enough in all honesty. It was a big shutdown, but Metro coming in strong, another pin kill coming through, and the point is slowly starting to be capped back for Metro.
This awareness and focus on Kelly Dud is really just the culmination of East Coast learning.
Oh,
like, Kelly is really like, wait, guys, the Riptire didn't work anymore. What's going on? And then, of course, Oblivions or Iser, someone's like, his response, They're learning. They're getting smarter. We have to win quick, otherwise we might still lose this one. And they're up. You know, it's one and a half fights before they get this over, and they get the first pick off, but it's a trade in Roadhogs.
Yeah, the Shatter came through, finding a couple people, but oh, we got some big kills coming through from East Coast team here. Ace of Spades making a strong stand and a hat trick in their pocket in the kill feed.
Very good retake, very good control as well. Not wanting to rush in too quickly. They had a little bit of time to work with, and they used it expertly. 60%. I mean, it comes down to one or two fights, depending on how long it goes. It is a city center after all. It can go on forever. But the ultimates are there for both teams. It's really who gets to execute better. And this Riptire, once again, is it going to make the difference?
A little bit of side damage coming through, but all in all, Metro pushing forward. That Nanode Rhine is going to be a big target of focus, and so is Azer's Whole Hog. Once again, Sauerkraut takes down Kelly Duds. Riptire not fooling him again on that front of high ground. Ace of Spades has the Death Blossom, is going to look to drop and just pop the Q right there, taking out both players of Metro. Now continuing with his assault, is finally taken down, but geez, not after removing so many members of Metro from the equation. East Coast not giving up at this last moment. OT bar has been triggered, and you gotta stay on the point here. There. Oh man, he's skirting around just out of the way. East Coast does not want Metro to take this point back, and well, we're a bit at full force again. A tank from each team has been removed, and now Kava's down too. Metro's at a disadvantage, but can they turn this around for themselves? It is a chaotic fight on the point. Supports are going down left and right, and this OT bar is still in effect. Metro continuing to put in the damage, but it is going to be a back and forth. Oblivion's now looking like he is coming out on top as the Reinhardt clearing even more space, but at 92%, East Coast is going to have to come back quick if they want to stay in this fight. The Hammond here is trying to do his best to stall out and give his team the time to come back, but it's not going to be very much time at all. Now, with the point flipping over to Metro at 93% and counting, they are pushing forward, trying to prevent East Coast from even having a chance to recontest so they can win this here. Can he make it around the side? Not enough speed, and Metro is going to go ahead and take the win here against the East Coast team.
Oh, you could see the nerves in that last fight, and especially from Archive. So many hook opportunities, so many hooks missed. If only one or two more hooks of that hits, all of a sudden you have a few more pickoffs. Maybe that changes everything. Unfortunately, couldn't quite come on top out of that one. You see Sauerkraut on a lot of hero play here. Didn't quite get that fight win, but did shut down quite a few Riptires in the end. I mean, they definitely learned. Sauerkraut was always on the ready. See the Junkrat go up. It's like, oh, he's got a Riptire. Well, I'll just wait until they see the Riptire. Shoot it out of the sky. It's not that big of a target. So yeah, they got it twice. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to pull out the win, but Metro, like I said, they just went to Comfort, and Comfort came out over whatever East Coast was trying to play. It was really good.
I am totally in agreement with you there. And, huge congratulations to the Metro All-Star team for successfully coming back and reverse sweeping this entire series against the East Coast team. Definitely some great back and forth in our first two maps, but they really turned it around, brought the heat, and pretty much knew it was make or break it time. So I'm excited to see our next match coming up between them and the West Coast team of who's really gonna clutch it out and get that edge over one another. But
Totally.
of
I'm
course, in the
super excited
meantime,
for that.
oh yeah. In the meantime, though, we are gonna hop over to a quick break and come back with another interview from someone from the winning Metro team. So we'll be right back, folks, and don't go anywhere. Hey, folks, and welcome back. With us, we have Kava from our victorious Metro team from our previous match. Kava, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Hey, you guys played fantastic in that previous match. Obviously, you lost the first couple of matches and then came back with a vengeance and got a full reverse sweep on the East Coast team. So, tell us a little bit about what was going on mentally with your team during some of that transition and, what really made you guys flip that switch on that says, "Oh, we get it, and now we're gonna crush the enemy."
Yeah, well, I think we really started struggling in the first two maps, dealing with that Reinhardt gameism. It was really oppressive. We just didn't know how to deal with him. He was just kind of steamrolling our whole team, and I think there was kind of a click that happened during the third map in Hanamura when we got that full stop from them. It just felt really good, and we kept that momentum. I don't really know exactly what was going right, but it was, and we just kept doing what we were doing, and it turned out well. So
Nice, very nice. Now, you're on this high school esports team. What elements of being on a team like this do you enjoy most and, make you want to keep coming back and continuing to do this?
yeah, it's really hard, especially given the past year. It's there hasn't been a lot of time for social interaction. So I really love
Yeah.
how we get the chance to kind of get hop in a voice channel together and kind of bond over something that isn't conventional, but it's definitely a really great opportunity just to interact with other people. So I really love that.
Nice, nice. And a class?
I mean, on a personal note, there was a note here that says you're a lovely child, which obviously we believe, but you're likely to cure cancer someday, but by accident. Like, what's the sentiment there? Do you know that?
For what? Wait, can you repeat that? I'm
I
sorry.
mean, so the note is here that you're likely to cure cancer by accident one day. It's like you just stumble up on the
Oh,
cure somehow. Like, where does that come from?
yeah. I have a knack for making random things work. So, I'll just throw a bunch of stuff together and somehow it will turn out right. So, if I happen to cure cancer, it'll probably not be me intentionally trying to cure it. So, I
Yeah.
guess that's what it meant.
Oh, the teammate you
Okay. Well,
never
I
knew
mean,
you needed.
right? I mean, hey, it worked out in this game.
Yeah, it did. We
Yeah. No.
just threw a bunch of stuff.
Totally. Exactly. Has it been? Because, like you said, it's nice to come together with people like-minded, being able to play these games together, even like from other schools that you normally might not interact with. Is that something that in general you'd like to do more, like get to know more people from different places and figure out what makes them tick?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of lived around the country. I grew up in Indiana, actually, and I lived there for about half of my life, and then I moved to Jersey, which was kind of a culture shock for me. So I really love meeting new people and new backgrounds and stuff. And I am actually trying to play for college because I'm a senior. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what their team is like, and hopefully it's a bunch of diverse individuals that I can learn and grow from.
Nice. Yeah. I think you're definitely going to find people who have a similar mindset and drive as you continue on your journey. And, that's probably also one of the things that is really great about this All Stars event, where we all know that you love this sport. You've been grinding hard to get better. And obviously there's a reason you've achieved this all-star status here. Is there anyone you want to, shout out and thank for either helping support you along the way or, you know, just in general? Floor is yours.
Yeah. My parents and my girlfriend are actually watching right now, so shout outs to them. I don't know if they're going to be listening into this interview, but I also want to shout out to Sunflower because we're going to be versing soon, and I want to get that Widow 1v1 in. So be expecting that in the near future.
All right, folks, you heard it here from Kava himself. Look out for the Widow 1v1 coming up in our next match. Kava, thank you so much for joining us on this interview. Once again, congratulations on your win and break a leg in your next match against the West Coast, my friend.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Well, folks, like I just mentioned, we are about to have our next matchup of West Coast versus Metro. Man of class, any thoughts around that coming up?
Look, I don't think it's. I don't think we can actually make a judgment because I don't think West Coast was properly tested, and we saw Metro just play out of their minds. So it's like Metro is either completely like done, like just cooked after that match, and just won't put up as much of a fight, or they're just completely fueled up. And on the other side, you have West Coast who don't really know what they're to think because there's no comparison, right? So I don't know. I guess we're just gonna get a good match. I don't think we're gonna get a lot more Torp shenanigans, at least. But yeah, all I know is we're unfortunately not gonna be the ones to take you there.
Yes, that is true. It is our time to pass the torch over to your next set of caster talent. Of course, big thanks to our producer behind the scenes, Capitano. He's bringing you all the magic that you see here. And honestly, we could never have done it without him. He's got us whispering in our ear, giving us the 411. Your next
Yep.
set of casters, though, are going to be just absolutely prime. You've got Septilence and Dryad coming in to cover the championship round. And, well, man of class, they are in a class of their own, I would say.
they have their own classes that they go to as well, both still in college. So
Oh,
that's what they do. And of course, don't forget to also still like follow EFGH on Twitter or any other social media platform that we're on. Still huge thanks for ESPN and Disney for also helping us make this possible. And if you really want to be sweethearts and let us know how much you love us, we also have Twitter handles like right over here. You probably already saw them the entire time, but everyone so much for watching, and good, have fun in the next match. It's coming up in as soon as we can get it, probably.
that's right, folks. And, don't go anywhere. We are going to take a quick break for some sub outs, but we will see you on the other side, and you'll see us casters in the chat too. So don't go anywhere.
What is going on, all you tanks, healers, and damage dealers? I'm Septilence, joined by the wonderful Dryad to bring you some more EGFH All-Stars 2021 edition. And Dryad, I don't know about you, but after what I've seen from watching what happened earlier today, I am wildly excited to see what these teams have to offer.
Yeah, 2 matches that happened already, 1 more to go for today in Overwatch, and we had the first one being a 3-0, the second one being a 5-map, really, really good match, and now, I mean, we have to see is going to be Metro Reg against West Coast.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what these teams are going to be bringing out. Like you said, it is Metro versus West, and Metro going to be bringing out a couple of players that are quite a few names I recognize already. I've had the opportunity to cast these players a lot, and I'm very excited to see what, Azer's going to be bringing to the table in that tank department. I've seen him play before, and I think I've seen Oblivions as well, so I'm honestly very excited to see what comes out of them. But, on the other side of things, we've got the West Coast coming out, and that's got the name that has been in everybody's mouth today, Sunflower, has just been, ripping this tournament apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to see how the rivalry is going to go between these two teams, especially when it comes to the DPS. Already for the last 2 matches and the maps that we saw a bunch of different DPS heroes being played. The Bastion, the Widowmaker, the McCree, of course. And that is exactly what I would expect from this match.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to see what is going to be coming out from these teams. And of course, we're going to be starting on our first map, which will be Nepal. And then going from Nepal, they get kind of a couple of choices here and there on what they want to be bringing to the table next. So it'll be hybrid, assault, escort, and control. And they get to pick kind of in that order. And that's, of course, if we go, the entire distance. This very well could just be another 3-0. But fingers crossed we get at least some competition here.
Yeah, and even though we always start with that control for most tournaments, we don't usually start with Nepal. It's usually the Legion Tower maybe to start it off, and that's always interesting to see. But in Nepal, you are able to play a little bit more of what's going to benefit your team the most. And from what we see and what I like to see between them is that they're not locked to a single composition. They're running a lot of different things depending on the scenario and just checking what's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Control points are personally my favorite map type in the game because the well-made ones, Lijiang Tower and Nepal as well, each of the different stages forces you to normally play a different team comp. Now, we see that a lot on Ilios as well, and Nepal perhaps a little bit less. I feel like Village and Shrine can have very similar comps, but Sanctum is the one where teams really have to kind of put their money where their mouth is and spice things up. And we were warned, right before we went live, that we should expect these players to bring out what they called outside the box compositions. So let's see if they're really going to be living up to that name or not.
Yeah, a little bit of that creativity coming through that I'm so excited to see. And honestly, yeah, I feel like for these teams, this is really what makes Overwatch fun, is seeing a lot of different heroes being played, a lot of these flanks coming through that are very, very unexpected. And we've seen it for not only for the DPS, but we've had moments where we see the Zenyatta going in the flank, gets 2, maybe gets 3. And it's so fun to see everyone just having fun, everyone just trying to win as well.
I'm super excited to see. I know that we heard as well Sunflower and somebody else going for a Widowmaker 1v1. It looks like it's going to be Kava.
Yep.
I'm very excited to see. I hope it comes to fruition. I hope we see some insane Widowmaker trick shots for no reason. And honestly, I'd be more excited to see what these teams bring to the table. Now, it's funny that, these outside-the-box compositions, and then both teams have almost the exact same compositions. So, other than Dakwall on the Genji and Kelly Dead on the McCree, we've got a mirror matchup.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going to stay with this 2 DPS. I think for the side of having Dakwall on the Genji, that's going to be huge as well to try to get that Widow if it's starting to be a little bit too disturbing for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a map or a stage rather that I wouldn't say Widowmaker is exactly notorious on. I feel like this is kind of a weird one to start off your Widowmaker duel, but now it's going to be on the shoulders of Sunflower and Kava, who wants to really find that first elimination. That first pick is exactly what these teams are going to need to crack this fight wide open. Now, I'm not a fan of holding on the high ground here with this Reinhardt because he really just gets to play just the big rectangle man, and that's realistically about it. But there it is. Sunflower will find Kava, snow falling in simultaneous. Dakwall trying to find Bird at the end of things here. The support line immediately going to be gone for Central there, so West, they've got the numbers. It looks like it's going to be a 5v4 as the support line is completely gone, but West is just really not pushing in quite yet. Dakwall playing it slow, already halfway to that blade, but they've really got to farm these eliminations because every percent is so wildly important on these control points.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be good as we see Sunflower on the Widowmaker taking control. And being able to take control of this point is going to allow them to get that positioning to try to get that Widowmaker as well. To try to get a few of the supports. Like, you do have the immortality, but you only have one opportunity to use it for a long time. So you better use it very, very carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you've got one shot to use it, and then you've got to wait nearly half a minute to use it again. So maybe it cancels out a Widowmaker one time, but not much longer than that. Sunflower tries to read the hop pattern there of Adra, but not quite able to line things up. Almost has his head taken off there by Kava, and it looks like they're going to have to tuck tail and run just a little bit, getting healed back up. Kelly Dud instead with that first elimination. Snow will be taken out. It looks like Sunflower will not be far behind. Kava does find that headshot, and Dakwall farming this blade, but just not finding these eliminations when his team needs them most. L-Dog has fallen once again. This is a 3v6 scenario, and if you are coming out the side of West, your goal right now is just to make it out with your life, and Dakwall will not have that opportunity. Mr. Declan picks up Kava toward the end of the fight, but has to regroup if they want to push into this once again.
And it was also really good that we saw this side of Metro taking control of the point first. They lost it, but they're already gaining more of that percentage compared to what West had at the beginning. They're trying to engage, but they don't have all members ready yet for the side of West, trying to get this ultimate soon.
Oh, that's going to be a good elimination once again. Kava taken offline, and Danklin even committing the grabs that Immortality Field we talked about, going to be making an appearance here, and not going to do its job, eliminated in the blink of an eye, and Athena will tell us that team kill does come through. This has gotten the point once again, but they've got to hold on to it for more than 30 seconds if they want to take this stage.
Yeah, it's all about using those ultimates first, that shatter, ideally connecting, then also trying to use that blade. Those are the kills that they're trying to get for the side of West, but it is not guaranteed as a couple ultimates are also ready. We do see a little bit of that change Kava now Tracer.
Oh! Oh, the sleep! Oh, just the pure interruption there. And now the Nano Blade coming out, finally making an appearance. No kills quite yet. There goes one, turns into two, make it 5. And just like that, everybody but Kava has been sent right to the graveyard. It looks like West is going to be able to hold on to this point for a little longer.
Yeah, really good job. It is only that blade, and it's so interesting to see because there's only a couple teams that are able to get away with using a Genji and it being effective. So far, it does seem like West is going to be that team between both of them on this match. Already about to pass at 80%, and Metro, a lot of difficulty, a couple ultimates. That Nano almost ready, ideally going to one of the tanks.
Yeah, the Nano, I think, really does make the most sense here on that Reinhardt, perhaps that Zarya, but throwing it on anybody else would not be the best call. And speaking of throwing out ultimates, here come 4 of them. We've got the Beat, the Nano, and the Amplification Matrix making an appearance. Azer did commit the Graviton Surge as well, but instead, Snow with the triple Earth Shatter going to be able to find 2, make it 3 kills off the back of it. So many ultimates down the drain from Metro, and Snow turns the fight around just by pressing Q once.
And you can tell the West, they're very careful about their rotations. They want to make sure that they stay alive, even if they lose the point for a couple seconds. They know that they just need to guarantee that fight. That's exactly what happened. Kelly Bud was swapping into the Genji, seems like not really able to build that blade towards the end. Was really close, but not enough. And with that West, they take that first point.
Yeah, Kelly Judd is going to be, like you said, making that swap, and Kava as well, playing a little bit of kind of compositional musical chairs there, continuously swapping from hero to hero, never really finding that ult charge after the swap off Widowmaker. And moving into Sanctum, my personal favorite Nepal stage, I'm very curious to see what boop ability these teams can really bring to the table. We see Tom and Bird both in that Lucio, but I want to see if these teams can win these fights dry, or if they're really going to rely on that Death Pit to take this stage home.
And they're already locking that Roadhog, trying to set up with that kind of position, and I love seeing this map. Not the biggest fan of playing it just because it's so messy. I always get booped. It's a nightmare for me. But we do see a lot of damage already that is going to be coming through for the side of Metro. That Junkrat as well. You have the Roadhog. If you get that close range, you're also going to have that Reinhardt, and that is enough for you to be able to take control and to keep holding the point for a little bit longer.
Junkrat, my personal favorite hero in the game. I love to see him making an appearance here on Sanctum, and Azer just going to be accretion to oblivion there, taken offline very early on with the help of Dakwall. That accretion from Snow, cracking this fight wide open, and all of a sudden they do not have to worry about what that Roadhog's going to bring to the table. Instead, Snow picking up Kelly then with a secondary accretion there, so a 4v6, make it a 3v6 in favor of West. Metro, they don't even get the chance to take this fight.
Yeah, a lot of killing they has to be working on at the same time for that Zenyatta, getting the Discord Orb and getting a couple kills with that. We do see West taking control of the point first, and they do have that Arisa as well to hold the space.
And the Orisa is going to be great, like you said, to hold the space here. That shield in particular kind of forces the team to make some awkward rotations or push in a little bit further than perhaps they wanted to. Dakwall going to be looking to farm that blade. Might get caught out of the air here if he's not careful, but it looks like he will be able to make it back down, forcing that immortality field coming out from Age. We're going to be 3/4 of the way to that blade. Immortality field gone. Dakwall not quite. Will find the final shot onto Birds. The Lucio has fallen. The Reinhardt not far behind. Oblivions will fall. Adra as well. And Dakwall, it is just his world. And Metro's unfortunate enough to be living in it, but Kava finally going to put that blade back into the ground. Sunflower picks up Azer, and a lot of efforts, but West will hold on to this point.
Yeah, and there was just no one looking at this Genji going in, getting a couple kills. So really good job ordering him that blade. And on the other side, we do see a big change here, and is that Oblivion now going into the Winston, trying to make that engagement a little bit easier for the team, but you still, it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough just because of how hybrid it seems to be, with a Roadhog especially not close to the Hull Hook to at least break the shields from the side of the Orisa of West.
Absolutely, they're really gonna need to break these shields. And now, like you said, with that Bongo coming online, I'm terrified to see if Metro is able to do anything. We've got a Nano Blade, we've got a Bongo Blade, we've got a lot of things coming out here. I mean, that Supercharger could be enough to win the fight on its own, and yet only one ultimate at the ready from Metro here. They're running out of time to make the magic happen. They've really got to get this figured out.
There's a lot of ultimates that are being built. In the meantime, the Transcendence being forced, and we do see that Tire gets 2.
The Tire is going to find 2 there. Dakwall and L-Dog, so the Nano Blade immediately put down the drain. Now, lucky for them, they didn't press Q, so they've still gone up for the next fight. This is the first time on Sanctum that Metro has finally kind of set their feet on the ground almost single-handedly because of Kelly Dudd picking up 5 of 6 eliminations there in that team fight. So, Junkrat, my man, finally making himself worth it here in this matchup. Now, Metro, they finally got their feet on the ground. How long can they hold on to this point?
Yeah, because that Tire was the opening for the fight, and they tried a lot of different things before. It didn't really work out. They, like I said, they still have a very hybrid composition with the Winston. You have to be more careful about the engagement here, especially as you see West now trying to attack first, and they do have the Nano ready.
Nano Boost is going to be ready, and Azer, I think, lands the hook, but nobody's able to follow up off the back of it. Sunflower is going to be able to take his way, or fight his way away from Oblivions there. So a very brief 5v6 before Oblivions does return to the fight, and immediately going to be able to walk through that hook. Here comes that Supercharger I talked about with Kava. Picks up Snow immediately. The whole hook coming out from Azer will be able to find one. Mr. Danklin will fall, and just like that, Kelly Judd comes in with the double mine, taking out the support. Sunflower taken out by Oblivions, and this hybrid comp, this clunky composition may actually be working out for Metro.
Yeah, and because of that, it seems like West seems forced to swap the composition again, going to the Roadhog. It's going to be difficult at Tire, once again ready for this type of Metro. They need a way to counter it. The Transcend is not ready yet for Tom, and there's the one condition. The Nano Blade coming through for West, but can it come in time before the Tire gets to?
Yeah, they need to pull that Nano Blade, like you said, but here comes the Riptire from Kelly, a little bit overzealous and creation through the ground there by Snow. Will be able to pick up the kill onto Sunflower immediately after, so Kelly Dudd will still get a kill in favor of Metro here. West has 20 seconds to touch this point if they want to take the ball home without a third stage, but as Mr. Danklin falls, Dakwall's order just got even larger. He finds one elimination onto Bird, but it looks like he will only find one more onto Azer. Make it 2! Will pick up Adra as well. Snow finds Kava, but honestly, as long as Kelly Dudd is alive, I think this fight has plenty of opportunity to go either way. And just like that, Kelly Dudd will fall as well. It's going to be Oblivions all day long trying to survive, but instead, West will send him back to the graveyard as well. This is a now or never moment here. If West loses point again, they will lose Sanctum.
Yeah, it was really just a matter of going in for the Genji with the Nano Blade. Last opportunity, last fight for both of these two teams, but the side of Metro, they use a lot of ultimates. Transcendence for Tom still available.
Yeah, like I said, that Transcendence is still going to be available, and it looks like they may not even need it as 2 huge eliminations come through. Azer and Bird will be taken offline. Dakwall does fall, but they're going to need a couple more eliminations to really make this fight worth it, especially as they're going to lose their Baptiste in just a moment here. Mr. Dang going to rip out that whole hog. A little bit of insult to injury as nobody is able to make contact with the point, and just like that, Nepal goes to West. Things look a little bit shaky, but they're able to make the magic happen.
Yeah, they were having a lot of difficulty. The momentum was slowly building up for the side of Metro, but it was just West at the end being able to take it back, using the win conditioning, using that Nano Blade, getting 2, then getting 3, everyone else being able to engage properly, and I love seeing the changes that they made throughout as well. I think this is something really, really important, especially on this map. For the side of Metro, they swapped into the Roadhog. We saw the Winston as well coming through, and the Roadhog as well for the side of West, being able to land those hooks and get that kill immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tanks, I feel, like you said, we saw a lot of compositional changes and a lot of transitioning coming through. But one thing we saw just consistently coming out was Mr. Danklin on that Zarya with 71% average energy. That is an absolute menace to this game. Mr. Danklin doing an absolutely phenomenal job there. I'm curious to see if he can keep up that momentum moving into our next map type, which I believe is going to be hybrid. Now, Metro, they get to choose Blizzard World or King's Row. And I don't know about you, but personally, I'm a big fan of King's Row.
Yeah, I love seeing King's Row, and it goes to almost the same as we were talking when it comes to control maps, and is that you get to play a lot of different compositions. For King's
Right.
Row, we know this map very well for the Rhines area coming through for that rush that is so fun to see, but it doesn't mean that it's always like that. In the last couple months, we've seen meta with maybe a Sigma being involved, maybe we see other heroes, some Orisas when they want to hold that point when your team has confidence to do so. So there's a lot of different compositions. I love seeing the rush, and we saw it even on this control map where the Zarya was doing so much, getting so much energy, and those bubbles coming in just in time to save the team.
Absolutely, and I know King's Row in particular, West may be relatively excited about because earlier today, Sunflower just rained absolute terror on this map, getting, I believe, a couple of 4 or 5Ks with Bastion of all characters. So fingers crossed he does that again. I don't like playing against Bastion, but watching people play Bastion is always rather entertaining for me. So we will be moving into that King's Row, and I can only hope that Sunflower brings out that Bastion once again.
Yeah, we definitely have to see, especially how the enemy team is able to adapt to a Bastion composition, because it's really, we never really see a middle ground. It's either
Right.
the Bastion gets played and the enemy team gets completely destroyed, or the Bastion gets countered immediately and they're forced to swap. We never really see that middle ground where it's kind of working, kind of not, because you need that setup to be perfect for that Bastion. So if you lose that momentum, it's really hard to gain it back.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Snow might be locking in the wrecking ball for an aggression coming through here. Now we see that West is going to be starting on that offense, so they have switched sides at the top of your screen, and Metro on that defense as well. A lot of changes from Metro. Kava is going to be back on the Hanzo like earlier, but other than that, looks like they're going to be sticking to their tried and true.
Yeah, a little bit more of the same, and I'm wondering, because this map is also really good for Widowmakers, if we're going to be seeing Sunflower maybe trying to stick with it, especially maybe from the beginning and the end, maybe that street phase of King's Row becomes a little bit more difficult, but it's still possible for them to work it out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Sunflower's going to stick to the Widowmaker. Like you said, this is one of those maps that Widowmaker is actually in kind of often. This is a good map for her, at least on that first and third point. Like you said, the street space, a little bit clunky. And speaking of clunky, Dakwall gonna dash himself right into the spawn room there. Kelly Dunn catching him with a stray grenade, and that's gonna make things pretty difficult for West. They're gonna have to back out already to wait for that Genji to return.
I love seeing the Junkrat being played again. A lot of the damage coming through. You want to break those shields as soon as possible to be able to engage. And on the other side, a little bit of a different approach. The Hanzo also being really good at breaking those shields, but it's a little bit harder to make it work.
Yeah, of course, Dakwall, speaking of Hanzo, going to be on one of his own. Now the Genji not really working out here. And oh, Hanzo certainly is able to find Kava right after that amplification matrix. Kelly Dunn picks up one. They get two as this Junkrat just raining absolute havoc here against this opposing team. And honestly, Kelly Dunn just keeping the dream alive for Metro here. Will finally fall to Sunflower. Mr. Danklin picks up Bird. And with that Junkrat falling, that may have been the nail in the coffin here for Metro. West may be able to cap first point.
Yeah, the spawn definitely helping them out one by one, trying to get the kills, but the shields once again being a very huge distraction, knowing that is that double shield, that Orisa and that Reinhardt being played for this team.
Yeah, the Orisa, like you said, the Orisa and the Reinhardt, and the solo grab from Danklin. Gonna be able to pick up two there. Gonna be able to find Adra and Kava. Here comes a Shatter out from Oblivion. It's a bit of a desperation move there. Now a Riptire as well. They are desperate to keep this fight alive. Kelly Dunn picks up the tank line, finds Sunflower as well. And I said it once, I'll say it again. This Junkrat is the sole reason that Metro even stands a chance here in this fight. Now, a very small spawn advantage for West if they're fast enough, but Metro, they may have been able to re-find their footing here.
It's slowly happening, but the Dragons are coming through. A lot of desperation coming from the teams trying to get this point for the side of West.
Yeah, this has been a fascinating turnaround, but West has powered through and they have prevailed. They will come out stronger on the other side of this. Danklin finds one. Sunflower sends Oblivions back to that long distance spawn room. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. West, they are pushing. I mean, they are going to touch the spawn door at this rate. They are pushing all the way in to find these crucial eliminations. Look like both supports are going to be taken out here. Dackwell may fall if he can't hit this shot, but now this Baptiste, unfortunately, will fall, taken out with the DPS line of West.
Yeah, and both of the supports actually for this team got taken down. We saw Zenyatta being taken down first, then the Baptiste, and that means that Metro, they have to wait a little bit longer. Both of the Sultans are going to be available when they come back, but this could be maybe 2 fights that we see in Street Face.
Yeah, now Kelly Dudd is going to be able to find 1 elimination. Snow falls to that counterpart, Reinhardt. Sunflower able to find not 1, but 2 eliminations. Make it 3, the melee to Oblivion, sending that Reinhardt out of the fight. And there we go, makes it a 4K. I talked about it already. Sunflower getting 4Ks on King's Row. Mark that one off your bingo card, my friends. And make it 5, going to find Adra. Hits the flashbang, but not quite the follow-up yet. And Sunflower might be able to win the fight, but there it is. Adra almost takes the Cowboy down.
Almost, but not enough, and that's once again going to delay that push for the entire team to come through. Both of the ultimates still available for this team, but look at what West has. They have almost everything, and they're also getting the kills.
Yeah, West, I mean, like you said, they've got pretty much everything in their arsenal, and it looks like they might not even have to use it as they're getting danger close to capping this second point already. They've got pretty much every ultimate under the sun. The ones they don't have are mere seconds away from making an appearance. A very early Transcendence from Bird. Oblivion's committing another Earth Shatter, only able to find Tom. The elimination will come through onto Kava, or from Kava rather, and that still might not be enough to win in this fight. The Immortality Kill from Adra will be taken offline. Dackwall picks up Kava, a 5v5 comes through, and the Hanzo is gone. That secondary damage dealer on the side of Metro has fallen. 1 more elimination for West, and oh, this is gonna rip him apart. There's the grab, here come the Dragons, and there is no ultimate to catch that one on the side of Metro. Just like that, West has made the magic happen. They're pushing it all the way to second point. They're looking to find third.
And we only saw that one proper fight happening towards the end, and just that combo of those ultimates that grabbed and search with the Dragons are enough. They didn't have that immortality to keep the team alive, and even then he got taken down immediately. So now a lot of difficulty. That Tire once again ready for the set of Metro, but they only have 1 opportunity here. This could be 1 or 2 more fights.
Yeah, that Transcendence is certainly one Metro's going to want back. Azer, however, finally getting some footing here for Metro. Takes Snow out of the fight straight away. Finds Danklin as well. Dackwall not far behind. And Metro, they did it once. They've got to do it at least 3 more times if they want to burn this timer all the way down.
Yeah, no pressure. Just, you know, do it again and again and
3
again.
whole times.
To see if it's gonna work, it's gonna be perfect. Oh, that Roadhog getting stunned, that is going to be
That's
huge
not how you do
once
it.
again. Yep.
Yeah, you had to do it 3 more times. They might not be able to do it even 1 more as they are very early on. Here comes a hyper-aggressive High Noon through the Rhine Shield. Finds Oblivions and the Immortality Field fall as well. Sunflower taken out by Kava with a phenomenal Storm Arrow there. Snow going all the way into the back line. You might see the Earth Shatter here if it's needed. Finds a secondary kill, looking to find a third, but here comes a Riptire from above the support line. Ripped away by Kelly Dudd, who picks up a 3rd kill onto Snow. Mr. Danklin will find the kill out of the Junkrat, but the Mousetrap did not close fast enough. The damage has been done. West has gotten the cart moved a little bit further, but they do not have the numbers to keep this fight alive.
And they also haven't passed this corner. They're slowly making it happen, but they need those ultimates to engage that amplification. Ideally, for the set of L-Dog, what would be an amazing opportunity to get a couple kills to catch anyone in a bad position and get them taken down.
Absolutely, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody that I've worked with before once said, if you see a team on Soldier 76, it means they probably don't know what they're doing. And Sunflower going to be locked on the Soldier 76, trying to prove that wrong. Now 4 ultimates coming out. There's the Shadow, the Dragons, the Grab, and the beat. Tommy's going to drop the beat to keep all 5 of his teammates and himself alive. The Earth Shatter from Snow will only find 1, but that may have been 1 enough. And what a charge onto Adra, sending him to the Shadow Realm. And now a minute 40 left on the clock, and the Soldier 76 making a colossal difference there in the fight. Kava touches with that blink, has to recall straight away, and just like that, the pile drive lifts Razor a little bit too high. He gets too far from the cart, and 1:35 left on the clock. A phenomenal push from West.
Yeah, and it's looking really close between these 2 teams, but there's just like one fight that's really going to determine who's going to win, and so far West has taken them every single opportunity that they get. And Metro, they do get a couple quick kills. They try to use their ultimates, but it seems like the timing isn't there. They get a couple kills, especially when we see that Junkrat coming through, and when we see the Junkrat having the tire. That's the biggest win condition that this team has, but they need another one to guarantee those fights in between, and that is what's missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if you're Metro at this point, I think just pocket Kelly Dudd, because this Junkrat has been just ripping through West every time they're given the opportunity. I don't think we've seen a Riptire with less than 2 eliminations yet, so that is something that I definitely think they need to be paying a little bit more attention to. And I think if they just kind of enable their Junkrat to do the absolute most, they could really roll through West here on this initial offense.
Yeah, there's only been one tire that got canceled. That got a rock got it taken down, and that was
right.
the last map. But in every other time that we've seen it, it gets a couple kills, and that is exactly what the team is expecting this Junkrat to do. They have a big opportunity here, and it seems like this team might be benefiting more from the attacking side rather than the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, honestly, swap to a Mercy, just damage boost the everything out of Kelly Dud and see what you can do there. And already Kava's almost taken offline by Dakwall there, so a little bit of a reverse roles we saw earlier when we saw West on the offense. Metro going to be going up and rotating around through the high ground. This is good because it allows them to get through the choke using as few abilities as possible. Instead, looks like they might be waiting this one out a little bit. It may have been a bait after all. They can't exactly figure out where West is. They know that somebody's back here, and it looks like the answer will be caught out by Kelly Dud. Sunflower immediately taken out, and that's got to be the green light for this team to push in. Metro going to be storming in. They know the Tracer is gone. One more kill to really make this fight their own, and Kelly Dud desperate to find it.
Yeah, there's so much damage coming in that they can't even properly engage him. Make that rotation, but it's a little bit too late. Reinhardt getting taken down.
Yeah, Oblivions and Bird are going to fall. Azer picks up L-Dog, but it may already be too late. Dakwall finding Kava, and this could be the opportunity that they need in order to find the successes here. Danklin picks up another Sunflower, will find Kelly Dud in the offense. Actually secures 2 ticks, but won't be able to go any further quite yet.
Yeah, 2 ticks is a really good amount nonetheless. They just need 1 fight. And if they're able to force that rotation with the damage coming through, especially with the damage from the Junkrat, that would be ideal. The tire almost running, we know what happens then.
Yeah, like you said, we've seen this story before. I feel like we're gonna get a little bit of deja vu when we hear that tire coming out from Kelly Dud. And the Dragon's almost at the ready from Dakwall. The grab from Mr. Danklin is gonna be at the ready as well. It's gonna be a great fight-winning ultimate if they can land the grab appropriately. I'm curious to see if they're gonna use it this fight. Instead, Kava picks up Sunflower straight away. There's the grab, here's the Dragons, but nobody touches the point, and the grab Dragons hardly matter as the kind of a C9, kind of a not. Nobody was on point when they should have been, that's for sure. West looking a little bit too reliable on that grab Dragons.
Yeah, it's really that rotation. Like you said, they got 2 ticks. They only needed maybe 1 fight, kind of a fight to make it work. And without the payload, we'll start moving for the side of Metro. Forcing West all the way back, they did have that fight, but that doesn't guarantee that they're going to get that point.
Yeah, that was a fascinating choice from West. I don't think they realized how much had actually been capped by Metro up to this point. Now, looks like Snow's going to immediately try to turn things around with a 4-man Earth Shatter, finding 3 eliminations off the back of it. And Sunflower now bringing out that Ashe. That's a character we haven't seen between these duels quite yet. 4 minutes left on the clock. West has quite the hill ahead of them if they want to win King's Row right here.
Yeah, absolutely, because West, I mean, they are looking really confident here, pushing forward. This is not something that we see often, just holding on that choke point. But for West, they look confident. They have the Dragons again, almost a grab, and it's only been 1 fight. So that's where you can start seeing the aggression coming through for this team as well, even if they don't have that Junkrat. Yep.
Yeah, they don't even need the Junkrat because Dakwall is doing just as much damage, hardly missing a headshot. We see Kava's going to fall right away, so that High Noon not getting any closer to it. Ultimate there. Sunflower will be able to find Kelly Dud, so all the damage now being taken out on the side of Metro. Immortality fields down on both sides. Bird dropping the beat a little overzealously, perhaps, as the rest of Metro is going to try to push into a 4v6. There's the grabs, there's the Dragons, and everybody's favorite aimbot making an appearance once again. Dakwall finding a triple kill there. Bird, Oblivions, and Azer will fall. Snow picks up Kava, insult to injury there, and honestly, the DPS line for West is just so terrifying.
Yeah, there is still a lot of time remaining, though, for the set of Metro to try to do something here. And they, for West, they didn't really need that Bob to be used, especially with that combo that we saw yet again. They still have a couple ultimates, though, that shattered.
No.
Oh?
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. Oh, I want this to be successful. Oh, he saw it. Oh, I wanted that to be successful so bad. You're generous, absolutely nobody, but that will not stop Snow from holding W into the team, able to find 2 eliminations. Help of L-Dog and Kelly Dud once again finding that double kill. Tom and Danklin will fall. Dakwall taken out as well, and this Junkrat again the sole reason that Metro is able to move this court any further.
Snow being very, very hungry, trying to get a couple more to line up there, but they couldn't really connect that kill, getting taken down at the end. And with that, the payload finally gets to move. There's going to be one more fight on the second part of the map before we're able to see if Metro's able to take it. And they do have a couple ultimates. That amplification and the whole hog also coming through. It's going to push everyone from West Coast all the way back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the whole hog can be used not really as to find eliminations, but just to keep the team off the point. Tom, however, does find Kelly does, so no Junkrat damage coming through quite yet. Kava goes for the high noon, but eats a fire strike from Snow instead. Azer not going to be committing to that whole hog quite yet, because he will be committing to dying there, caught by the charge of Snow, and a couple of stray shots from Tom. Or Adra, the Baptiste has absolutely nowhere to run, and oh, this is depressing. I feel bad. Oh, wow. There he goes! He's going to kill him. Now, the charge is a little bit too overzealous there. He's not going to be able to let him go. Snow will let Adra get back to his team, but that just burned an additional 20 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, it's going to be only 1 minute remaining by the time that this fight comes to an end, and it's going to be difficult. A couple ultimates coming through, but we see every single time that West Coast, with and without ultimates, are the ones taking the advantage.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, absolutely phenomenal Earthshatter coming out from Snow there. He jumps the corner, he shield peeks it, and finds a 4K in the mix. However, his team might not be able to win the fight. They're going to need Whole Hog back, the rally, and Amplification Matrix making an appearance as well. There's the grab, there's the dragons, and there is what could possibly be the final nail in the coffin. However, that was every single ultimate on both sides that was available. So this next fight is going to have to be one dry by either team.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see. The tire is going to be available, so they do have that opportunity. That immortality has to be available to try to keep the team alive for the side of West Coast. This is the last opportunity for the defense, but they've gotten everything right. They just need one more fight, 20 seconds remaining.
Now, we've seen what Kelly Dudd has done before with these rip tires. Has to do it simply one more time. I'm very curious to see if they're going to be able to find that damage coming through quite yet. Metro, I mean, they're desperate to find this one. They don't have any ultimate online except for this Riptire. All they have to do is make an opening. The Amplification Matrix coming out from L-Dog, and here comes that Riptire up and around the high ground. Should have gone for the Hanzo. We're going to get a little bit overzealous, taking some damage in the lineup. Gets a little bit too courageous. Not quite able to find any kills there. Another Bob coming out from Sunflower, a 7v6. Adra gone, Bird is gone, and Kelly Judd has fallen already. That's going to be a 2v7 here, and just like that, one by one, Metro will fall. Absolutely ripped the shreds. West looking wildly dominant here on Kings Row.
Yeah, really good job. There were only a couple fights that we saw Metro taking the advantage of, and it was when West wasn't expecting it, which didn't really happen too often. An amazing job, a lot of different heroes that enabled that to happen, and those combos that were so hard to counter. I was about to talk about this. It was the grab dragons coming through, always being so effective, and you maybe have the protection of that immortality coming through. Maybe last time there if you're playing those supports, but that's still not going to guarantee that your team is staying alive, especially after because after we see the grab dragons coming through, everyone is kind of lost moving, and that is when the team takes the opportunity to take them down as well.
Yeah, and Mr. Danklin, I got to point it out again. We keep talking about how strong the DPS for West are, but Mr. Danklin's the second map in a row. He's gotten a card. The first one, 71% consistent charge, and this one, the most eliminations in game. So right now, this is Zarya. I mean, Mr. Danklin's a main tank. I remember him on the Reinhardt. He's an absolute menace, but the entirety of this fight, he's been on this Zarya and has been doing a very good job.
Yeah, an amazing job, and it's so fun to see those players being able to play a lot of different heroes and see what they can do with it, especially because those tanks, especially the Ryan Zarya, they depend on a lot of that synergy going on when the Reinhardt is going to engage, when you need that bubble to come in, and this is something that Zarya has been doing perfectly, but they still have at least one more map to go.
Like you said, this is going to be the match point here. If this is going to be West taking this one away, if they win this third map, that is all they needed to do to succeed. They need to, this is a 1-3 scenario. So if Metro loses Hanamura, they will lose the matchup here 3-0. And there's a couple of ways they can avoid that. Of course, they can simply win Hanamura, but that's the awful thing about 2CP
Simply win
maps.
Hanamura. Yeah, just
I was gonna say that's
win.
That's the awful thing about 2CP is there are plenty of ways to not win or lose, and by that of course I mean there is an opportunity to draw, and I can only hope they don't do that. If they win, we go to map 4. That's great. If they draw, we go to map 4. That's a little less great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it is absolutely a possibility to see maybe a draw coming through, because when we saw that control map at the beginning, the pawn was coming back and forth quite a lot for both of the teams. It was just getting that momentum going, but they couldn't keep it, and that's why we didn't see that 100 to 0 that can happen so often. And but now looking at Hanamura, I'm have to depend so much on your defense. I always look forward to teams holding that first point because it's such a rare thing to see. It never
Absolutely.
happens.
It's almost like a 1 in a million chance of a team actually holding first point Hanamura, and it tells me Metro might struggle to do that because Dakwall locked into the infamous Symmetra here. Kava going for a bit of a cheeky play. There's a lot of variables in play right now. I'm very curious to see which one's going to work out for who.
Oh, it's going to be scary playing that Symmetra against the Junkrat that can put so much damage into the teleport and take everyone down almost immediately, but still want to go for it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm curious to see. Our production just let us know this is the map that Metro started a reverse sweep on. So I'm curious to see if they're going to find that same footing here. Mr. Dacklin trying to make sure they don't have that opportunity. Kava taken offline, and McCree going to take a little while to return to fight. So a 5v6, making a 4v6 as Tom finds one bird taken out by Dacklin as well. Azer finds Tom, but at the price of literally everybody else on his team. We talked about how rare it is for a team to hold first point, and looks like we're not going to be seeing that quite yet.
Yeah, and I understand why, because you depend a lot more on that second point, and there's a lot of better ways that the second point is so defensive-sided that it becomes a little bit easier for teams to worry about the situation more than that first point. But it's still wasting a lot of time for the enemy team that's attacking is an ideal situation for anyone here. Really good kill in the meantime, but Oblivion also almost going in. Yep.
I was gonna say, is immediately answered by Oblivions there, so now it's gonna be a 5v5, a severe spawn advantage here for Metro, so West is gonna have to do the impossible, but Kava will find Dakwall. L-Dog committing the Amp Matrix. Not sure how I feel about that, but when you've got 6 minutes on the clock, you can do whatever you want, my friend. Kelly Dunn almost has that Riptire online as well, not quite able to find the eliminations that they're looking for. Oh, might be able to find L-Dog if he's lucky, but nothing coming through quite yet. The Riptire from up above, from the heavens, gonna go up, comes down. Sunflower with a great shot there, finds Kelly Dunn as well. The Junkrat taken offline, 5.5 minutes left on the clock, and West, somehow, some way, they might be able to win this fight as Metro just being ripped apart here. 5 minutes left on the clock, and they're already looking to secure this point.
Yeah, they're looking forward to do so and trying to get a little bit of that percentage. Finally, that barrier coming through, forcing Metra. Everyone getting taken down as they come out of that spawn.
Yeah, one by one, we are just seeing Metro lose these fights over and over. They don't have the time to go in as a group. They have to consistently just keep pushing in. Adra even committing a nano boost onto Oblivion's Wrecking Ball, just trying to give him any kind of health to stay alive. Sunflower completely uncontested on the high ground right now, able to find 3 eliminations in the fight. 4 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Metro reverse swept on this map earlier today, or earlier in this tournament. If they want to do that again, we need to see a brand new team from what we've seen so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is not going to be easy, especially because when we see Hanamura and when we talk about it being so defensive-sided, especially for that second point, one of the biggest reasons why is, besides that positioning in the high ground that you can take, is because you have the spawn advantage. But this time around, it really didn't seem like that was the case. They were coming one by one. That barrier from Symmetra was being used, so it was a little bit difficult for them to put any sort of damage without crossing it. And it became impossible for them to get that momentum, so Metro having a lot of difficulty here, and they are also just losing that synergy that seems so dominant for the side of West.
Yeah, no, this has been... That synergy from West has been nothing short of terrifying and very, very impressive from these teams, and curious to see if Metro can find a golden opportunity that they want here. Tom might be, I don't know, getting a drink of water or something, but he is just standing back here on second point, and Sunflower on the Widowmaker again. I mean, just looking at the roster that Metro is going to be bringing out, there's nobody to contest that Widowmaker.
Yeah, and it becomes very difficult. Even though we haven't seen that many kills coming through for the Widowmakers, there's only one that you need to allow your team to engage, especially when you have those snipers being so dominant. And now it is going to be both of the snipers actually coming through for this side of West. It's going to be the Hanzo as well, trying to get a couple kills on the one-shot potential.
Yeah, the double sniper coming through. They're going to be holding up onto the high ground here, what I always call the Soldier 76 spot. I remember when everybody found out you could get up there, it was It was the end of the world. Everybody had to do it. Dakwall, however, going to be able to find Kava, who went for a little bit of a cheeky rollout on the Doomfist, but paid the price of his life to show that off. Adrian taken out by Mr. Danklin as well. Already a 4v6. And West, I mean, I'm looking at their health bars. They've hardly even taken damage in this fight.
Yeah, they look really, really comfortable in this position as well. They're able to engage and disengage depending on what they need. They don't have the Lucio though for that speed. So if you're the attacking team, if you're a Metro, the best thing that you can do is try to go into that speed, try to regain that momentum in any way or another. Kelly now going back into the Junkrat trying to break those shields, but it's gotta be something that enables him to get that initial pick to go in.
Yeah, Kelly Judd looking a lot like me in a comp game. If one hero doesn't work out, I immediately swap back to Junkrat. Hopefully it works out a little bit better for him than it does for me. Kava, however, is going to be able to find Dakwall straight away. So a 5v6 coming through here, West. Oh, wait, out Sunflower in the back line. Look at the supports keeping themselves moving enough. The sleep dart comes through, a bit of a panic from the Ana, and Adra trying to find the kill, gonna land the nade as well. Sunflower caught deep in the back line. What a shot on a Kelly Dud there, following in a very predictable pattern. Might be able to pick up another kill on Adra, but oh, it's Bird instead taken offline. This Widowmaker, are you kidding me? Sunflower with the triple kill, just single-handedly ripping Metro to shreds. Most Sunflowers stand in the sun, but this one lives in the shadows and rips Metro absolutely apart in that team fight.
Yeah, the Widowmaker got taken down at the end, but it doesn't even matter. He got 3. Was having a lot of difficulty getting the support at the beginning, but he absolutely was able to get that back. Get that momentum, gets 3, 1 in the air, 2 more coming at him. And with that, it's just about holding that defensive position. Now, Kava looking for that rebound.
Oh, Kava able to find 2, but you know, you gotta find a couple more to cancel out a grab. Dragons coming through. What a shot! Able to find 3 of their own, so it looks like it is gonna be a clean 3v4 here, and West does have that numbers advantage. Unfortunately, Kava needs to land just more elimination, really trying to make Sunflower put his money where his mouth is, but unfortunately, I'm not sure they're able to get this kill fast enough for it to matter.
Yeah, it's just about the timing. Those kills were absolutely insane for Kava as well, but the team was not ready to engage again.
Right, the elimination, like you said, the eliminations were huge, but no follow-up, unfortunately, is going to make those eliminations essentially worthless. We got 75 seconds left on the clock, and Metro, they've hardly even gotten their foot in the door. Tom's going to be able to find Kava straight away. Ant Mitcher's coming out from L-Dog now. Declan picks up Kelly, that Bird gone, Atra gone. Looks at Oblivions, not exactly going to be able to make it out with their life. Another team kill here for West.
Less than a minute remaining for the start of the attackers to try to make something happen. There's a couple ultimates available, but they've been swapping those DPS so many times that it gets harder and harder for them to build those ultimates and to use them all at once. And this is really what they have to do at this point. Try to use that grab turn, try to combine it with a couple other ultimates, maybe with the Nano as well, and the Transcendence just to go in.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have to use, like you said, a lot of ultimates just to get their foot in the door, but Adra does not even get that opportunity, nor does Oblivion. Sunflower just living in the back line here, able to find 2 eliminations, and a 6v6 turns into a 4v6. Get 2, make it 1, as just, again, Metro ripped apart. Kelly Dud goes for reset, I guess. Snow finds Azer with the charge coming through, and Metro just, I mean, not able to do anything here. West just seems so strong.
Yeah, it seems like Metro, they waited a little bit too long to use those ultimates, and now it's going to be way too late for them to get it back.
Yeah, like you said, they waited way too long to use these ultimates. They're not going to be able to do much of anything. Bird commits Transcendence just to touch the point. Going to be taken out by that counterpart, Tom. And just like that, this series comes to a close. The 3-0 and what had to be maybe 40 minutes. A very quick, very efficient victory for West.
Yeah, really good job. And we saw Metro, they had a couple fights going on that first map more than anything. They under control. They were able to get that point back and forth. But at the end of the day, we never saw it being enough. So a difficult situation to be in, but we can tell already how strong West is.
Absolutely. They have very few cracks in the armor. We have not really seen them come through with anything scary to consider. Sunflower, 51% scoped accuracy, and Mr. Danklin again with the most eliminations in lobby, 67% kill participation. So between the Widowmaker that doesn't miss and the Zarya who refuses to die, there really is not much you can do. I do think we're going to throw it to a super short break and try to get an interviewee in here from West. So we will see everybody in just a couple of minutes. Don't go far. I think this interview is going to be a fun one. going on, everybody, and welcome back from a very quick 3-0. We are talking with the Widowmaker, the silent sniper themselves. We're talking with Sunflower. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just dominate on Hanamura, and I barely miss a headshot, but I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing okay. So, my question for you, the Widowmaker, was that... So we heard right before the game started that you wanted to Widow 1v1 Kava. Were you picking Widow at that point to keep up with that 1v1, or are you picking Widow because you know you're a good...
I don't consider myself a very good Widow. I consider myself a pretty inconsistent one. I honestly felt like I didn't do very well that match, but I think the first map, Kava said that he wanted to 1v1, so I respected that, and I kind of wanted to keep playing Widow because I enjoy playing Widow, even though I don't think I'm the best Widow.
Yeah, no, you certainly put on a show for us. I don't think I've ever seen a Widowmaker live in the back line quite like you did today. So that was quite shocking.
Yeah.
I like to hang out in the back line a lot. Got a lot from watching some of my favorite Widowmaker players.
It's so fun because no one is really expecting it. Like everyone is like, "Oh, that one is gonna be, in front of me, not behind me, getting all the kills." But I do have a question for you, and it's a little bit connected to what you were saying before. So there's a lot of different things that your team is able to play. More talking about the individual picks. You playing the Widow, but also being able to play other things. So how is that decision making working out? Do you guys decide on a specific composition depending on the map? Or is it maybe just depending on how you're feeling at the moment?
I think it's more map dependent. We have all six of us have a pretty wide hero pool across all of us, so most of us we're pretty flexible. We can play pretty much any composition we need to. Just play. It's mostly map dependent, but obviously if obviously it's like the pick is Hanzo, but whoever is going to play Hanzo isn't feeling Hanzo that day, then we'll play around that. But for the most part,
Right.
it's map dependent.
Yeah, and were you feeling confident on this match coming through? Were you maybe because especially that control map, it was going back and forth between both of the teams. So were you confident that you were able to take the victory nonetheless, or was there a time where you had to maybe change your strategy?
I think we definitely had to change our strategy. They definitely put up more of a fight than we expected. It definitely made us work for it. And again, I felt like I could have done a lot better, but we switched it up and eventually it just ended up working out.
Yeah, most definitely. Your roster is certainly one to watch out for. You guys had the most names that I recognized of any roster. So definitely some star-studded names, if you will. And I'm very excited to see what you guys are going to be bringing to the table later on. So while I've got you here, Sunflower, just one more question for you. A pretty easy one. Is there anybody you want to shout out or is there anyone you want to thank while we've got you here on the...
Just my team, my friends at home, school, and anyone supporting.
So host.
All right, absolutely. Well, Sunflower, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure this is probably not the last time we will speak to somebody on your team. But tell your whole team, huge congrats today, and we will see you guys later.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much. And with that, folks, that does bring today to a close. I know, I'm sure you guys are probably just as upset as we are that it's already over, but we did only have the one game today, so we are going to be closing the evening. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining today. Captain, thank you so much for all your great production in the back line. Huge shout out to EGF. Follow us on all of our social medias and all of the Twitch channels that we have. There are a whole bunch of them. You can follow Dryad and myself on our Twitters. Oh, you're over there. Dryad and myself on our Twitters. They are directly below us. And, of course, a huge shout out to everybody watching. See you guys tomorrow, but for the time being, check your posture, drink some water, and don't forget to love each other. Have a good night.